All right, so we are going to watch this video here. Fair use. This is for teaching and educational purposes. So we're going to watch this. And as you see the chat room, it should be to your right. And therefore, I'm going to be typing some things in the chat room. All right? If there's anything to note. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this. And then from this, we're going to hop into the 48 Laws of Money, and that's an actual audiobook. So let's go ahead. Yeah. 48 Laws of Power, the Secret Manual of Millionaires.
Darling, have you ever wondered why some women sign prenups while others sign checks? The difference is not luck, it is power. I am Duchess Dollars, and what I am about to share with you is literally the playbook the ultra-wealthy used to stay on top. The same rulebook my husband, Mr. Millionaire, keeps hidden in his mahogany desk drawer between his tax haven documents and the keys to our third vacation home. The 48 Laws of Power is not just a book. It is the secret manual passed between CEOs, Wall Street titans, and yes, clever wives who know exactly when to appear clueless and when to play chess. Most women struggle their entire lives wondering why they cannot get ahead. But they are playing a game without knowing the rules. That is like trying to win at poker when everyone else has memorized your hand. Impossible, embarrassing, and frankly, a waste of a good manicure. Let me tell you, when I first read this book in my private jet heading to Aspen, because Tuesdays are my pretend to work days, I had to put down my champagne. This Robert Greene guy spilled all the tea about how power actually works. Not the cute little believe in yourself mantras your broke friends post on Instagram while using discount codes for juice cleanses. I have used these exact strategies to navigate my way through Manhattan elite circles. And honey, do you think it is a coincidence that I am dripping in diamonds while recording this? These rocks are not just pretty. They are trophies from my power plays. Remember when I told you last week that success leaves clues? Well, power leaves receipts, from Tiffany & Co. usually. Now let me be clear, some of these laws are absolutely delicious, while others are more cutthroat than the time I saw two socialites fighting over the last Birkin at Hermes. But knowledge is power, and I am spilling everything. Because unlike your friends, who keep their luxury shopping next to themselves, I actually want you to join me at the top. The view's better, and the champagne flows freely. If you dream of upgrading your life from Target clearance to they do not even put prices on the items, hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now. I only share these secrets with my inner circle, and today, you are in it. Consider this your unofficial invitation to the country club of the mind. Listen, there is a reason why the richest 1% keep getting richer. They are not just lucky. They understand power dynamics that 99% of people never learn. It is not about working harder. My Chanel never sees me sweat. It is about working smarter, with strategies passed down through generations of the elite. Let us dive into the laws that separate the rich from those still asking, can we split the check? Or worse, calculating the tip on their phone calculator. How embarrassing. Law number 1, never outshine the master. This is crucial, especially for women climbing the corporate ladder, or better yet, dating a wealthy man. When I first met Mr. Millionaire, I did not immediately tell him about my 3 master's degrees or that I speak 5 languages. I let him feel smart, powerful, and in control. I praised his Tesla while hiding, that I understood exactly how the stock options in his compensation package worked. I acted impressed when he explained Bitcoin to me, even though I had been quietly investing since 2013. See, powerful men want to feel powerful. When you are dating up, do not try to compete. Compliment. That does not mean playing dumb. It means being strategic.
This is also key whether you are with a man or not, you like him or not. This is how to navigate around them as well. Okay? Because again, this is the patriarchal capitalistic society. And I think this is how we should navigate around everybody, honestly. But use it as you may.
Save your brilliance for the right moment, like when you are negotiating that prenup or suggesting investment opportunities that will benefit you both. The smartest women I know are not the ones showing off their intelligence at dinner parties. They are the ones whose husbands think marrying them was their own brilliant idea. In the corporate world, this means never making your boss look foolish, even when they are wrong. Correct them privately, praise them publicly. When I worked briefly in finance, before realizing I would rather marry it than do it, I would phrase my ideas as questions. What if we tried this approach? Then when my male boss repeated my exact idea later, I would enthusiastically support it. Was it fair? No. Did I eventually end up with his job and his corner office? Absolutely. Think of Melania Trump. Do you think it is coincidence she appears reserved in public? That is law number 1 in action, darling. She knows exactly when to shine and when to let Donald take center stage. That is not submission. That is strategy. The same strategy that turned a model from Slovenia into the first lady living in the White House. Who is really winning here? Law number 2. Guard your reputation with your life. Your reputation is your currency in high society. In fact, I would argue it is more valuable than your Amex Black Card. When women ask me how I got invited to all the right parties, I tell them, I never gossip about the hostess. I never get sloppy drunk. And I always send a handwritten thank you note on personalized stationery. Your reputation takes years to build and seconds to destroy. Just look at what happened to Elizabeth Holmes. From billionaire with a $9 billion company valuation to courtroom in designer outfits she can no longer afford. One minute she is on the cover of Fortune, the next she is the cautionary tale. Every Stanford dropout fears becoming. Or Martha Stewart, who rebuilt her empire after prison because she understood reputation management. She did not cry on Instagram. She came back stronger and richer than before. In high society, information is more valuable than the diamonds around my neck. That is why I never get too intoxicated at events. Loose lips sink yachts, darling. I have seen women reveal their husbands' insider trading over too many martinis, then wonder why they were not invited to the Met Gala committee the following year. That is why I never post my arguments with Mr. Millionaire on social media. Unlike my poor friend who keeps airing her relationship drama and wonders why she is on husband number 4. I keep my dirty laundry at the cleaners, where it belongs. And I tip the cleaner very well to keep it that way. Everyone in your life, from your housekeeper to your hairstylist, should be signing NDAs or receiving enough benefits to ensure their discretion. Even your charity work should be strategic. I do not just donate to random causes. I select philanthropic efforts that align with my desired image. Children hospitals, always a good look. Environmental causes, excellent for appearing forward-thinking. Political campaigns, only if you are absolutely certain they will win. Nothing damages a reputation like backing a loser. Law number 6. Court attention at all costs. This one is delicious. In today's world, attention is currency. Look at Kim Kardashian. Love her or hate her, she understood that visibility equals value. She turned attention into a billion-dollar empire. She did not just happen to become famous, she engineered it meticulously. But here is where it gets interesting. The law does not say, get positive attention. Sometimes controversy pays better. That is why I occasionally drop an outrageous comment like, I do not trust women who drive economy cars, or I would rather die than fly commercial on my Instagram. The outrage, the shares, the comments, it all translates to growth. And growth translates to more zeros in my bank account. The wealthy have always understood that being boring is the cardinal sin. That is why they throw lavish parties, buy outrageous art pieces, and sometimes even orchestrate their own scandals. Have you noticed how celebrities always seem to have leaked photos right before their movie premieres? Coincidence? Please. That is law number 6 in action. When I launched my luxury candle line, I did not just announce it, I created an entire event around it. I had influencers unbox the $500 candles while riding horses through Central Park. Was it excessive? Absolutely. Did every lifestyle magazine cover it? Also yes. While my competitors were spending their budgets on Facebook ads, I was creating moments that demanded attention. The secret that no one talks about? Sometimes I do not even believe what I am saying. It is performance art, darling, and the stage is paying very well. The ultra-wealthy understand that attention is never accidental. It is cultivated, directed, and leveraged like any other asset in your portfolio. But remember, attention without strategy is just noise. You want to be memorable, not infamous. That is why I never post about my political views. Too divisive. My diet? Too boring. Or my skincare routine. Trade secrets, honey. Law number 7. Get others to do the work, but take the credit. Now, I know this sounds terrible, but hear me out. When Mr. Millionaire throws his famous charity galas, guess who does all the work? His assistant, the event planner, the caterer, and yes, sometimes even me. But whose name's on the invitation and in the society pages? His. Is that fair? No? Is that how it works? Absolutely. The ultra-wealthy understand delegation, but they also understand optics. They hire ghostwriters for their autobiographies. They have teams designing the products with their names, and they certainly do not manage their own social media accounts. But they reap all the praise, prestige, and profits. Look at any fashion designer with their name on the label. Do you think they are personally sewing each garment? Of course not. They have a vision, they communicate it, and then an army of talented and often underpaid people execute it, whose name becomes worth billions, not the pattern makers or the seamstresses. When I launched my skincare line, did I formulate the products myself? Of course not. I hired the best chemists money could buy. But whose face is on the bottle? Mine. That is not theft, that is business. That is why my nighttime serum costs $300 when the production cost is $12. You are not paying for ingredients. You are paying for my name, my brand, my perceived expertise. The wealthy understand something crucial. Ideas are worthless without execution, but execution without recognition is charity. Never be the person doing all the work behind the scenes while someone else takes the spotlight. Either be the spotlight or own it. I have learned to strategically mention my team when something goes wrong, but use I when describing successes. My team is looking into shipping delay, versus I personally selected every ingredient in this formula. It is subtle but powerful. The wealthy take credit smoothly without appearing to grab for it. Law number 10, avoid unhappy and unlucky people. This might be my favorite law because it confirms what I have always known. Poverty is contagious. When I tell women to stop dating broke men, I am not being shallow. I am being scientific. Energy, luck, and mindset are all transmissible. Like that cold you caught from coach class the one time your private jet was being serviced. Look at how billionaires only hang out with other billionaires. Jeff Bezos is not grabbing coffee with the guy working at the Amazon warehouse. Elon Musk is not carpooling with Tesla assembly line workers. There is a reason for that, and it is not just snobbery. It is strategic insulation from scarcity mindsets. The ultra-wealthy understand that proximity is powerful. Your net worth will roughly match the average of your 5 closest friends. If those friends are constantly complaining about their credit card debt or celebrating when they find shirts on sale, guess what your financial reality will be? Mediocre at best. When you are surrounded by success, ambition, and wealth, you naturally elevate. That is why I left my community college friends behind when I moved to Manhattan. Was it heartless? Maybe. Was it necessary? Absolutely. You cannot soar with eagles if you are scratching with chickens. And I have no interest in being a free-range anything. I am strictly caviar and champagne. I have systematically removed people from my life who say things like, "We cannot afford that," or "That is too expensive." Those phrases attract limitation. Instead, I surround myself with people who say, "Let us figure out how to make that happen," or "I know someone who can get us access to that."
I feel like this is useful. This feels very useful to utilize, and before we get back to it.
Even my charity work is selective. When I volunteer, it is at fundraising galas, not soup kitchens. Why? Because at galas, I am networking with fellow philanthropists who write 6-figure checks for causes they care about. That is where opportunities happen. Nobody ever closed $1 million deal while serving mashed potatoes to the homeless. Harsh but true. This does not mean you need to be cruel. You can wish everyone well from a distance. Send holiday cards to those old friends if you must. Just do not let their limited thinking contaminate your expansion. Law number 13. Appeal to self-interest, never to mercy or gratitude. This law changed how I negotiate everything. When I wanted Mr. Millionaire to buy that summer house in the Hamptons, I did not beg. I did not say, "But honey, I really want it," or "I have been such a good wife." Please, that is amateur hour. I showed him how it would appreciate in value, impress his business partners, and put us next door to the CEO whose company he based on emotion. They make them based on advantage. They do not donate to charities because they are nice. When you are asking for a raise, do not talk about how hard you work or how you need more money for your bills. Your boss does not care about your student loans or your childcare costs. Talk about the value you bring and the problems you solve. Better yet, talk about how your contributions compare to what competitors would pay for your talents. I once needed a last-minute reservation at the most exclusive restaurant in New York. Instead of begging or name-dropping, I called the owner directly and mentioned how the hedge fund manager I was dining with was looking for a location for his daughter's wedding reception. Did we get the table? Of course. Did he actually have a daughter? Irrelevant. Remember when Taylor Swift pulled her music from Spotify? She did not plead with them to pay artists more. She did not write sad songs about corporate greed. She leveraged her power, removed her product, and forced them to change their policies. That is appealing to self-interest at the highest level. Even in relationships, this law is golden. I never tell Mr. Millionaire I miss him when he is on business trips. I tell him how certain investments are performing poorly without his oversight, or how his competitors are gaining ground while he is away. Suddenly, he is on the next flight home. Magic? No. Just law number 13 in action. Law number 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. The rich are masters of artificial scarcity. Why do you think Hermes had a waiting list for Birkins when they could easily make more? Why does Mr. Millionaire I'd have to check his calendar when someone invites him to an event even when I know he is free? Why does that exclusive sushi restaurant only have 8 seats when they could serve hundreds? Unavailability creates value. That is why I only post on Instagram 3 times a week, never respond to comments immediately, and limit my public appearances. The less available you are, the more people want you. Mystery creates value. That is why I never share everything about my life. I carefully curate what I reveal and what I keep private. The ultra-wealthy do this instinctively. They decline more invitations than they accept. They let their calls go to voicemail. They do not respond to emails immediately. Their time is portrayed as their most precious commodity. And suddenly, everyone wants a piece of it. I apply this law to my products too. My perfume line, limited edition releases that might not come back. My online courses, only available during certain enrollment periods. My private coaching, I only take 3 clients per year. Could I do more? Of course. Would it be as profitable? Absolutely not. When dating wealthy men, I always followed the same rule. Never be completely available. Even when I had nothing to do, I would say, let me check my schedule, before accepting a date. I would end evenings first, even when I was having a wonderful time. I would sometimes let calls go to voicemail, even when I was staring at my phone. Men value what they think they might lose. Use that psychology to your advantage. After marriage, this principle becomes even more important. I never ask Mr. Millionaire, where have you been? When he comes home late. Instead, I am often out myself, living a life that reminds him I have options. The moment your partner sees you as a guaranteed constant, the power balance shifts unfavorably. Look at celebrities who disappeared from public view. Their comeback tours sell out instantly. Absence does not just make the heart grow fonder, it makes the price go higher. Law number 18, do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. This might sound contradictory to the previous law, but there is a crucial difference between being strategically unavailable and being isolated. One is a power move, the other is a vulnerability. Many wealthy women make this mistake. They build walls around themselves with NDAs, security teams, and exclusive social circles. They only speak to people in their tax bracket, only vacation in gated communities, only attend pre-screened events. Then they wonder why they have no real friends, why they are the last to know about important developments, and why their husbands cheat with the personal trainer who actually listens to them. I have watched billionaires lose everything because they were too isolated to see the changing tides. Remember Elizabeth Holmes? She only surrounded herself with yes men. Or Leona Helmsley, who became so isolated she left her fortune to her dog because she had alienated every human in her life. That is not power. That is pathetic. True power comes from connection, but selective connection. I maintain relationships across different social circles. I chat with socialites about art acquisitions, but I also know what the bartenders at the plaza think about the latest celebrity divorce. I know the doormen's names at my building. I remember my housekeeper's birthday. Not just because I am nice, though I am occasionally, but because information and loyalty flow from unexpected places. The most powerful people are those who can move between worlds effortlessly. They can discuss derivatives with Wall Street executives, then share a meaningful conversation with their driver about the neighborhood where they grew up. They can attend a state dinner, then grab street food from a vendor they have befriended. I once learned about a lucrative investment opportunity from my manicurist, whose other client was privately discussing a merger that had not been announced. Information is everywhere if you are actually connected to the world outside your bubble. This is particularly important for women. The old boys club still exists, and if you isolate yourself completely, you will miss the conversations that happen on golf courses and in cigar lounges. You need allies and informants in places you cannot access directly. Law number 21, play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Oh, this one is delicious, especially for women. Society already underestimates us. Why not use that to our advantage? If they are going to assume we care more about the Kardashians than the stock market, let us profit from that misconception. When negotiating with contractors for our home renovation, I played completely clueless about construction costs. Really? Is marble usually that expensive? I would ask innocently while knowing exactly the market rate down to the square foot. I do not really understand these technical terms, I would say, despite having already renovated 3 properties. They would lower their prices thinking they were educating me, not realizing I was playing them like a Stradivarius. This works particularly well in male-dominated spaces. Car dealerships? I act like I do not know the difference between horsepower and torque, then somehow end up with a price thousands below market value. Electronics stores? Oh, I do not understand all these specifications, I say, while mentally calculating the exact RAM and processing power I need. I have watched Mr. Millionaire do this in business meetings too. I am just a simple investor, he will say. To tech founders, before asking questions that reveal he has studied their entire industry and probably knows their code base better than they do. By appearing less knowledgeable, you get people to drop their guard and show their hand. The ultra-wealthy understand that information asymmetry is valuable, but only when you are on the advantageous side. Let others think they know more than you. They will reveal everything while trying to impress or educate you. Meanwhile, you will gather intelligence while revealing nothing. In social settings, I sometimes play the silly rich wife, who only cares about fashion and vacations. People say the most revealing things around me, assuming I'm not paying attention or would not understand. Little do they know I'm mentally recording every word while pretending to be fascinated by my manicure. Just remember, there is a difference between playing dumb and being dumb. Never.
The most impressive shit I ever seen was this woman who was Middle Eastern. And she's been in America, and so, she's assimilated. So whoever wouldn't know would not know she was Middle Eastern, and her husband was full Middle Eastern. And so this woman waited all the way till she married this man before he knew that she was Middle Eastern too. So she played like she didn't speak the language. She played like she didn't know nothing, all the way till she married him. And what happened was there was a song she played or something in the house, and boom, she spoke the language. Now, that's deceitful as fuck. But when I looked at her, I didn't think that you can't tell. But I thought that was quite interesting that she did it that way. And I would be curious enough to ask this woman. I saw it on TikTok, so I just got a clip of it. Why did she do that?
Never sacrifice your actual knowledge or skills. Simply control when and how you reveal them. Law number 25. Recreate yourself. The ultra-wealthy are not born. They are created. Do you think I came out of the womb as Duchess Dollars? Of course not. I recreated myself, just as Stefani Germanotta became Lady Gaga, and Sean Carter became Law number 28. Enter action with boldness. When an opportunity presents itself, the wealthy do not hesitate, they pounce. When that exclusive apartment came on the market, Mr. Millionaire did not think about it, or sleep on it, or consult with friends. He made an offer that day, $500,000 above asking, all cash, no contingencies. That apartment has tripled in value since then. Fortune favors the bold, not the ready. Most women wait until they feel prepared enough to make a move, but by then the opportunity is gone. That promotion, that investment, that man, someone bolder has already claimed them. The wealthy understand that imperfect action beats perfect planning every time. I have watched countless women lose life-changing opportunities because they were researching or considering or weighing options. Meanwhile, another woman, often less qualified but more decisive, swooped in and seized the prize. Hesitation is the language of the middle class. When I saw Mr. Millionaire across that polo match, I did not wait for him to approach me. I did not analyze whether my outfit was perfect or if my opening line was clever enough. I boldly asked him about his horse, knowing nothing about polo except that rich men play it. Boldness has a power that hesitation will never understand. This applies especially to investments. When Bitcoin was under $100, many people were thinking about it. When real estate was bottoming out in 2009, many were waiting to see if prices would drop further. The bold ones who acted became millionaires. The hesitant ones became regretful. Even your personal style should reflect boldness. Notice how the ultra-wealthy do not dress in safe, forgettable outfits? They make statements with their clothing, their homes, their art collections. They understand that boldness itself communicates power. But remember, boldness without purpose is just recklessness. The key is to identify valuable opportunities and then move on them with absolute conviction. Do not be bold about things that do not matter, like arguing with the valet or sending food back at restaurants. Save your boldness for moves that will actually advance your position. Law number 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king or queen to be treated like one. This is not about being born into royalty. It is about carrying yourself with the absolute certainty that you belong. It is the difference between asking for permission and announcing your presence. When I walk into Bergdorf's, I do not nervously finger the price tags or ask if something is on sale. I do not shuffle around hoping someone will help me. I act as if I have been shopping there my entire life, even when I could not afford anything more than a lipstick. I make eye contact with staff, I expect excellent service, and I get it. The staff treats me accordingly, not because of who I am, but because of how I present myself. The ultra-wealthy know how to command a room without saying a word. It is in their posture, their eye contact, their comfort with silence. These are all learnable skills. Stand straight, speak slowly, maintain eye contact, and never rush. These simple changes will elevate how others perceive you. Even your speech patterns matter. Wealthy people rarely use qualifiers like, I think maybe, or sort of, or if that is okay. They make declarative statements. They do not ask, could we possibly get a better table? They say, we will need a table with more privacy. Period. Practice removing weakness from your language. I am sorry should be reserved for actual wrongdoing, not used as conversational filler. Your environment reflects your internal sense of royalty. Think about how royals live, surrounded by beauty, order, and the best of everything. You may not be able to afford palace-level luxury yet, but you can create an environment that honors your highest self. Even if it is just your bedroom or desk at first, make it impeccable. Quality over quantity always. True royalty is not about being demanding or entitled. That is just insecurity masquerading as confidence. Genuine royalty is gracious, confident, and unconcerned with proving itself. The most powerful people I know are also the most courteous. Not because they are afraid of offending, but because they are secure enough to treat others well. Start dressing like the position you want, not the one you have. If you want to marry a billionaire, do not dress like you are hoping to match with a middle manager on Tinder. If you want to be taken seriously in business, invest in quality pieces that communicate authority. Your appearance is your visual press release to the world. Law number 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. This is particularly important when you are climbing social ladders. The truly powerful know when to blend in and when to stand out. Swimming against the current is exhausting and often counterproductive when you are still building your power. Base. When I first entered Manhattan society, I observed everything. How women held their wine glasses, which charities they supported, what they wore to daytime versus evening events. I noticed which topics were appropriate: art acquisitions, certain vacation destinations, private schools, and which were taboo: exact income figures, plastic surgery details, marital problems. I did not express my real opinions until I had established myself. The ultra-wealthy understand that every environment has unwritten rules. Whether it is a country club, a corporate boardroom, or a charity committee, there are specific behaviors that signal you belong. Violating these norms before you have established power marks you as an outsider, or worse, as oblivious. I have watched ambitious women sabotage themselves by sharing controversial political opinions at donor galas, or by wearing cocktail attire to business functions. These seem like small missteps, but they communicate that you do not understand the culture you are trying to enter. The wealthy are extremely sensitive to these signals. Now, of course, I can say whatever I want because I have built my position. I can wear white after Labor Day or discuss taboo investments because I have earned the right to break rules. But in the beginning, I was a chameleon. That does not mean sacrificing your integrity. It means understanding the social codes before you attempt to break them. This law is particularly relevant in romantic settings. If you are dating a wealthy man, observe his world carefully before attempting to change or challenge it. Notice what his friends' wives or girlfriends wear and how they behave. You do not have to become a clone, but understanding the expectations will help you strategically conform or strategically deviate, depending on your goals. Remember, the goal is not to surrender your identity. It is to blend in just enough to rise through the ranks. Once you have power, You can reshape the environment to accommodate your authentic self. But trying to change the rules before you have influence is like trying to renovate a house you do not own yet. Law number 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. The ultra-wealthy do not just accumulate assets, they cultivate influence. The most powerful tool is not a private jet. It is the ability to make people want to do things for you. True power is not forcing compliance. It is creating willingness. This is a subtle art that requires understanding human psychology. Everyone has different desires and fears. Some people want recognition, others want security, others want to feel intelligent or important. Identifying what drives a person allows you to frame your requests in a way that appeals to their specific motivations. When I need something from Mr. Millionaire, I do not just ask directly. I plant seeds days in advance, connecting my desire to something he values. If I want a new summer home, I might casually mention how his rival just purchased property in that area, or how the real estate there is appreciating rapidly. By the time I actually make the request, he is already pre-sold on the idea. The ultra-wealthy understand that most human behavior is emotional, not logical. We make decisions based on feelings, then justify them with facts. That is why luxury goods focus on experience and emotion in their marketing, not just specifications and features. They are selling a feeling, not a product. Look at how I talk to you right now. I am not commanding you to subscribe to my channel. I am making you want to, by sharing information you perceive as valuable. That is not manipulation. That is influence. The difference is that you benefit too. Win-win scenarios are the hallmark of sophisticated power plays. This is particularly important for women, who historically have not had the same access to institutional power as men. We have had to master the art of indirect influence. Think about powerful women throughout history. They did not always have official titles, but they shaped events through their influence over those who did. Even something as simple as how you phrase a request can determine its success. Would you mind looking at these numbers for me? Sounds weak. I would value your expertise on these projections, appeals to someone's desire to be respected for their knowledge. Same request, completely different psychological impact. Law number 48. Assume formlessness. The most powerful people are adaptable. They shift strategies based on circumstances. One day they are aggressive, the next they are accommodating. They cannot be pinned down or predicted. Like water, they have no fixed shape, but can wear down even the hardest stone over time. This is how the ultra-wealthy survive market crashes, political changes, and social upheavals. They are not rigid. They are water, flowing around obstacles rather than trying to break through them. While others cling desperately to failing strategies, the powerful adapt and thrive. I have watched Mr. Millionaire change his entire investment strategy overnight based on economic shifts. During the 2008 financial crisis, when everyone was panicking and selling at the bottom, he was calmly restructuring his portfolio, buying distressed assets at bargain prices. While others were frozen with fear, he was fluid and responsive. The result? He emerged from the recession significantly wealthier, while many of his peers never recovered. Being formless means having no single predictable pattern that opponents can study and counter. If you always respond to challenges the same way, you become vulnerable. If you can shift approaches, sometimes confrontational, sometimes conciliatory, sometimes silent, you remain unpredictable and therefore powerful. This does not mean being inconsistent in your goals. It means being flexible in your methods. Your destination remains fixed, but your route adapts to conditions. Think of it like GPS navigation. If there is traffic ahead, you take a different street, but you still arrive at your destination. In social settings, formlessness means reading the room and adjusting your persona accordingly. At a conservative business lunch, I might play up my financial acumen. At a fashion event, I emphasize my aesthetic sensibilities.
I think this is good. Yeah, I would not dismiss utilizing what she's saying here in this video.
At a charity gala, I highlight my philanthropic interests. Same person, different facets, displayed strategically. The ultra-wealthy rarely reveal their true thoughts or feelings in negotiations. They maintain a pleasant but neutral demeanor that gives nothing away. They do not show excitement when they hear a good offer, or disappointment when terms are not favorable. This emotional formlessness prevents others from gaining psychological leverage. Remember, in a world of constant change, rigidity breaks. The oak tree that refuses to bend in the storm eventually snaps. while the willow that flexes survives. Cultivate formlessness in your thinking, your strategies, and your responses, and you will navigate the corridors of power with grace that others can only envy. So there you have it, my darlings. The secret playbook of the powerful. These laws are not pretty, but neither is the truth about how the world actually works. You can clutch your pearls and call me cynical, or you can use these insights to finally play the game at the level you deserve. Let me share a few more gems from this Bible of influence. Law number 5. Guard your reputation with your life. In today's digital world, this is more important than ever. Everything you post, every event you attend, every person you associate with it all builds or damages your personal brand. The wealthy are meticulous about their public image because they understand that perception creates reality. Law number 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. This might sound manipulative, but it is just smart positioning. Make yourself indispensable, whether to your boss, your clients, or your partner. The person who can be easily replaced will be. That is why I have developed...
I see that one a little different. I've grown to see that one. When you are in a boss position, I am learning. When you are in a position of where you either are paying, someone's getting credit from you, and you have something that's solid for people who are working for you to do, they are going to depend on you. And depending on the position, they're going to depend on your direction. So it's like, what I learned is, once you lose them to the point they're just like, you're not organized, you don't know what you're doing, you can't really get that back. You get what I'm saying? And this is what I've learned. Like, you have to set a position of authority where they're going to want your direction. And I see this even at work, where it's like, okay, this is the manager I like to work with. Not so much I get away, but this manager knows how to control things that it gets done and people follow the direction and the direction is understood. But I noticed that people who don't have that, where if the manager explains something to them, they don't know what the hell's going on, the manager doesn't know how to talk to them. Once you lose the people, that's it. So I understand. I'm starting to understand. Keep people more dependent on you, because there are people who, once you're in that position, they won't move until you take the first step or till you walk through that door. I have seen jobs of managers where they handle things so well that employees won't even start the line or anything. And the manager has to say, look, y'all need to just go ahead and start the line before I get here. The manager has to say that. So I'm really starting to understand how important that is.
Skills and connections that Mr. Millionaire cannot easily find elsewhere. I am not just a pretty face, I am a strategic asset to his life and business. Law number 15. Crush your enemy completely. The wealthy do not leave enemies with the power to return and seek revenge. When they decide someone is an opponent, they do not just win. They make sure that person can never threaten them again. That does not necessarily mean destruction. Sometimes it means conversion. The smartest move is turning enemies into allies. Law number 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. If people are slightly unsure of how you will react, they will work harder to please you. I am not suggesting being volatile or unstable, quite the opposite. A calm, measured unpredictability is far more powerful than emotional outbursts. This is why Mr. Millionaire's employees work through weekends without being asked. They are never quite sure which behaviors will be rewarded or ignored. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone. The ultra-wealthy keep their options open. They do not make unnecessary promises or lock themselves into positions prematurely. They maintain flexibility while others are forced to show their cards. When you are negotiating anything, from a salary to a real estate purchase, the person who can walk away holds the power. I do not believe in luck. I believe in strategy. And now you have mine. This book has been my Bible for navigating the world of wealth. When I am deciding whether to attend a charity gala or how to respond to a frenemy's backhanded compliment, I think about these laws. When I am negotiating my allowance with Mr. Millionaire or deciding which wealthy bachelor my friend should pursue, These principles guide me. And speaking of guiding principles, I never gamble in casinos. Why would I risk my money on games designed for me to lose? The only casino that interests me is Monte Carlo. And even there, I am more interested in who's playing than what they are playing. The real power move is not winning at the blackjack table. It is owning the casino. Or better yet, marrying the owner. I would rather bet on myself than on cards. Gambling is for people who do not understand math or psychology, two subjects the wealthy have mastered. You see, the difference between me and you playing slots is that I would be playing with Mr. Millionaire's money. If I lose, it is his problem, not mine. That is what I call a hedge. But even then, I would rather spend that time networking. By the pool, where the real valuable chips, connections, are exchanged. Remember what we learned today. Power is not given. It is taken by those who understand its rules. If you want to transform from a peasant to a princess, from overlooked to overbooked, you need these strategies in your designer handbag. Subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell if you want to stop being a pawn and start being a queen. I have left links to some truly fabulous wealth-building resources in my pinned comment. And if you enjoyed this peek behind the curtain of power, comment "Power moves" below.
Alrighty. Let's get to it. Y'all ready? We are going to get into the 48 laws of money. Let's see how this works out. This one a visual. Let me see something. This one, let me see. Never spend on a single income. Let's see this visual one. I'm enjoying these visuals. This one's 22. Let's look at this one. 22 minutes.
Money, a delicate subject. It's a subject most people are reluctant to discuss. They are reluctant because speaking about it can attract severe criticism. However, you and I are brave souls, so let's wander into this misunderstood area of life. Lord Bacon gave us some valuable advice when he said money is a good servant, but a bad master. In developing our desire for money, we should also seek a balance of wisdom as well. Otherwise, the accumulation of wealth could bring with it the potential to distort our personality and rob us of our life. I have often thought it to be rather strange, and I should probably add sad, that the earning of money is not taught in our school systems anywhere in the world, even though money is a medium of exchange which is accepted and used worldwide. The frequent response to this kind of thinking is, why should we teach earning money as a subject in school? Everyone already understands how to earn money. However, that is not correct. The sad truth is that 97 out of every 100 people are born, they live and die without ever learning how to earn money. Their ignorance with respect to money is passed along from one generation to the next. Conversely, the 3 or 4% of our population who do understand how to attract wealth pass their prosperity consciousness from one generation to the next. It is time for the 97% group to wake up. If you are part of this group, understand you can learn how to earn money, all the money you want, and it is no more difficult than learning how to drive an automobile. The masses find it strange that there are people who have learned how to pilot rockets to the moon, but have not learned how to accumulate wealth. However, there is nothing strange about it. Being competent at one thing, regardless of what it is, does not mean that you are competent at everything. This message on money has not been made for everyone. It is intended for the 97 out of every 100 who want to earn money but have not yet learned how. This message has nothing to do with interest rates, investments, stocks, or bonds. This power principle is about the cause of wealth. Many years ago, George Bernard Shaw spoke out about money. He made a couple of statements which have caused numerous arguments. Permit me to share them with you. 1, it is the duty of every person to be rich. And 2, it is a sin to be poor. Well, what thoughts do those statements stir in your mind? What is your immediate reaction? So much time has passed since I first heard those statements, I do not remember if I reacted to them or if I sat back and objectively thought about them, wondering what Shaw meant. I probably reacted. Most people do. My reaction was very likely negative as well. I don't suppose it matters how I reacted since it was 20 or 30 years ago. However, you must admit, these are two very powerful statements. Statements you and I should understand if we are interested in earning money, especially if we are interested in earning money. Before we reject these statements as being ridiculous, analyze them. Let's listen to those two statements again and attempt to understand them. 1, it is a sin to be poor. 2, it is the duty of every person to be rich. To properly understand what Shaw was saying, you must first have an open mind. Second, you must remain objective. And third, you definitely will require some understanding of the natural laws of the universe. These laws are frequently referred to as divine laws. One of the basic laws you must understand is the law which states, everything is moving, absolutely nothing rests. You are either moving ahead in life or you're going backwards. It's grow or die, create or disintegrate. You are becoming richer or poorer. Now there's a second law which is referred to in many different ways. Karmic law, sowing and reaping, cause and effect, action, reaction. How you refer to this law is of little importance, but the understanding of how it works is vitally important. The thoughts, feelings, and actions that you express in life are the seeds that you sow. The conditions, circumstance, and things that come into your life is the harvest you reap as a result of the seeds that you sow. Hold those thoughts for a moment while we investigate the deeper understanding of the words sin and money. Sin is transgression of the law. Violating the law is a sin, and the price of sin is death. That does not mean your heart will stop beating, but it does mean you will go backwards. Remember the law which states that you will either be creating or disintegrating. You'll grow or die. When you attempt to get without giving, you are trying to reap the harvest without sowing the seeds. It will not work. That, my friend, is a sin. You go backwards. Now, let's look at money. What is it? Money is a reward you receive for the service you render. The more valuable the service, the greater the reward. Attempting to get money without providing service is a violation of the law. George Bernard Shaw believed you and I were put here on the planet to serve one another. Thinking of ways we can be of greater service will enable us to grow intellectually and spiritually. It is our duty to serve, and money is reward we receive for that service. If a person has received their money in an unlawful manner, don't think for a second that they are on the right track. They must pay the price. You reap what you sow. You might see the money they have and the things money will buy, yet never see the price they pay. But they will pay. That is the law. Every thinking person will agree that in the light of the law, what Shaw said is correct. However, that is where the problem begins for most people. They do not think, and if a person is not thinking, Shaw's statements would appear very callous, even ridiculous. Personally, I believe Shaw made those statements the way he did to provoke people into thinking. The Apostle Matthew in the Christian religion did essentially the same thing 1900 years before Shaw. Matthew stated, "To him who has shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him who does not have, even that which he has shall be taken away." At first glance, that sure doesn't sound very fair. Matthew is saying that the rich will get richer and the poor poorer.
Right.
People who believe that this is unfair are people who view abundance as something that is being doled out. To them, Matthew's statements would have to appear grossly unfair. If, however, you see abundance as something one attracts, the entire picture would change and it would be very fair. The prosperous person will be thinking prosperous thoughts and attracting more of the same, while the poor person will be thinking thoughts of lack and limitation. They too, by law, will attract more of the same. Quite simply, what Shaw and Matthew were emphasizing was the importance of our own responsibility in the quest for abundance. Abundance is something we magnetize ourselves to. We draw it into our life. That is abundance in every aspect of our life. Business associates, friends, everything we want will come into our life by law, not luck. You are either attracting or repelling good. It is your own consciousness that ultimately determines your results.
Right.
Now, I said earlier, and I repeat, money is in consciousness and it must be earned. That is a statement you must understand if you truly desire to attract money into your life. I personally consider Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, to be one of the most complete works ever compiled on the accumulation of wealth. I have carried the same copy of that book with me for over 30 years. I read a bit of it almost every day. In the publisher's preface of the book, it is stated, Think and Grow Rich conveys the experience of more than 500 individuals of great wealth who began from scratch and with nothing to give in return for riches except thoughts, ideas, and organized plan. It clearly states that this book contains the entire philosophy of money making. Now, the point I want to bring to your attention is this. Think and Grow Rich has 15 chapters, and not one of those chapters is titled Money. In fact, the word money is not even mentioned in the title of any one of the chapters. The last chapter has 8 words in it, but money is not one of them. Why do you suppose none of these books talk about money when the purpose of the book is to assist the reader in accumulating wealth? They do not talk about money for the same reason a farmer does not spend time explaining how to bring in the harvest when he is teaching his son how to plant a seed. There is a season for sowing and there is a season for reaping, but you never do both in the same season. Be quiet and listen carefully to what I am going to say. The paper you fold and place in your purse or pocket is not money. It is paper with ink on it. It represents money, but it is not money. Money is an idea. The earning of money has nothing to do with this paper stuff. It has to do with consciousness. That is precisely why all of these great authors who wrote books, which people claim helped them earn millions of dollars, never wrote about money. You must become very comfortable with the idea of money. Now, that may sound strange. However, most people are not comfortable with money, which is why they do not have any. Listen carefully to conversations about money. Most people will apologize or give some form of justification for wanting money, if in fact they will even talk about it. The average person's face will change color and their behavior will change when a serious conversation arises about earning money. None of this is so with wealthy people. Wealthy people are aware that money is a medium of exchange and they treat it as such. They respect it, they feel very comfortable with money, and they are quite at ease talking about money. They keep money in its proper place. They remain the master, and money remains the servant. When wealthy people experience a financial problem in their life, which is not uncommon, they possess the wisdom to focus on the cause of the problem. They make the mental corrections required and proceed. You rarely ever hear a wealthy person talking about their financial problems. Do you know why that is so? The obvious answer is that wealthy people don't talk about financial problems because they don't have any financial problems. This area of life is no different than any other area of life. The truth is rarely in the appearance of things. Wealthy people have more financial problems than poor people will ever dream of having. How could a poor person have money problems? They rarely have any money. Money is not the poor person's problem. Lack of money is their problem. If you want to solve a problem, you must attack the cause of the problem. The cause of poverty.
I don't think y'all caught that. I don't think y'all caught that. He's like, rich people got money problems because they got money. Poor people don't have money problems because they don't have no money. Oh shit. Oh shit. That was damn.
It's poverty consciousness. The poverty consciousness causes a person to see, hear, smell, think, and feel lack and limitation. Listen to the conversations of individuals with a poverty consciousness. Lack, limitation, and tough times are all they talk about. That is all they talk about because that is all they think about. And that is all they think about because they have a poverty consciousness. Their thoughts, feelings, and actions are the seeds they are sowing. As you sow, so shall you reap. Their harvest is one of lack and poverty. Their harvest is the results in their life. The results are expressed in their physical health, their bank account, and their social life. These poor souls see with their physical eyes their physical problems. It's Poorsville for them. Their results control them. They keep planting the same seeds and keep reaping the same harvest year after year. Soon they accept this as their lot in life. Then they think, why should I expect more? No one in our family has ever had more. We have always been poor. It's not our fault. It's the government's fault. They should give us more. They should take it from the wealthy people and give it to us. They will never use all they have. It's just not fair. Now, the wealthy person has a prosperity consciousness. They understand there is an infinite source of supply. They are acutely aware of the fact that if they are experiencing a problem with the harvest, if there is not sufficient or more than enough harvest to meet all of their needs, they are the cause of the problem. Perhaps they have not properly prepared the land, sown sufficient seeds, or sown seeds in enough fields. They loathe lack and limitation. They demand the abundant, good life, which is their birthright. And when they experience any less, they take full and complete responsibility for their position. Blame is not part of their way of life. They will not talk about lack because their prosperity consciousness will not permit it. They know that talking about lack is sowing seeds for more of the same. They immediately begin to brainstorm with other individuals who have a prosperity consciousness about other crops they want to harvest in the future and where they should begin sowing. Mike Pa, the famous movie maker who died years ago, once said, "Being broke is a temporary situation. Being poor is a mental condition." He was correct. There are wealthy people who lose every cent they have through a series of mistakes and judgment. That does not make them poor. They will have it all back in a short time because of their prosperity consciousness. Study research which has been done on poor people who win lotteries. In a short time, they have nothing left. Money cannot stay with a person who has a poverty consciousness. And by the same law, money cannot stay away from the person who possesses a prosperity consciousness. If you have any question in your mind regarding where your consciousness is, it is not difficult to find out. Be very honest with yourself and look at your results. Study the patterns in your life. Now, from this point on, our focus is to create a higher prosperity consciousness and to prepare for the abundant harvest. Begin by preparing a powerful, positive affirmation and fuel it with emotion. When you do this, you are depositing this creative energy in the treasury of your subconscious mind. By repeating this process over and over and over again every day, it will begin to mentally move you in the direction you want to go. Write it out, read it, feel it, and let it take hold of your mind. Now let's get serious. How much money do you want? Saying I want more is not good enough. $5 more is more. How much more? Decide on a figure. You should have the amount of money you need to provide the things you want, to live the way you choose to live, whether you are working or not. Now, you will not seriously want more money than you are capable of earning. But remember, you must earn it. FG plus E equals I. That is a formula you can use to become financially independent. I will repeat the formula for you and listen carefully. FG plus E equal I. The FG represents financial goals. The E represents expenses. The I represents income. So you set your financial goals, you add to that your expenses, and then you have the figure that you want to earn. Now, arriving at answers to some of these questions will probably take time. You're not going to answer them in 5 minutes if you answer them properly. When you seriously consider the positive impact this formula can have on your life, you will realize that it most certainly deserves whatever time it takes. The FG establishes your financial goals. How much money do you want to have in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? There are only two ways to earn money. One is people at work and the other is money at work. You should be employing both. If you want to be financially independent, what you're actually saying is this: I want to have enough money working for me to provide the income I will require to live the way I choose to live. Now, what you have just covered may cause you to think that you're going to have to quit your present job because you cannot see yourself earning the amount of money you require in your present position. Although that may be true, it does not have to be true. The most important consideration about your daily work is that you love what you do. The amount of money you earn is not the most important consideration. The individuals who live the most fulfilled lives are those individuals who have a very difficult time differentiating between work and pleasure. That, my friend, is a key factor in living the abundant life. The income you earn in your present position may be small, but your overall income could be substantial. Now, that statement would indicate that you would have to have more than one source of income. If you don't, you should. Wealthy people have MSIs. MSI is a term which means multiple sources of income. You can have 100 sources of income. Could have 500 if you wanted. You can even hire people to manage them. Multiple sources of income does not mean multiple jobs. That concept generally leads to an early grave. Multiple sources of income means exactly what it says. The idea that you must work harder or longer hours to earn more money is a myth. It is a concept which is believed and perpetuated by people who are generally very tired and without money. That could represent you or possibly someone you love. You must understand that most of the really wealthy people do not work very hard. They generally love what they do, and they have income coming to them from many sources. It is not difficult to set up multiple sources of income. Anyone can do it. A single mother raising children on her own can set up numerous MSIs. Once you have determined how much money you want to earn, write this amount on a sheet of paper in large figures. Look at the numbers with the dollar sign beside them and tell yourself over and over again, that amount of money is an effect. It represents a reward I want to receive. What service can I render that would be deserving of that reward? Now, you can take the total figure and divide it into multiple parts. Each part would represent a source of income. Each source of income represents a separate reward that you would receive for a service you would render. Work on one at a time. Each one can become an exciting part of your life. What you are actually doing is thinking of different ways you can be of service to others. You must remember that money is a reward we receive for service rendered. When you understand this basic law, you will understand that the only time you must think about money is when you are deciding how much you want. From that point on, your entire focus, intellectually, emotionally, and physically, must be directed towards providing service. Think of how you can do whatever you are doing effectively. Think of how you can improve on the quality and the quantity of service that you are rendering. Think of how you can help the people you are helping in a greater way. Remember, money is the ultimate servant. With money, you can provide service in 1,000 places at the same time. The more money you earn, the more you can help others. Remember this: poor people have a poverty consciousness. Wealthy people have a prosperity consciousness. A poverty consciousness will cause you to think and experience a lack of money. A prosperity consciousness will bring you great wealth. To develop a prosperity consciousness, follow the instructions you have been given. Decide exactly how much money you want. Break it into parts. Then forget the money and give all of your attention to providing service. The money must come. Ralph Waldo Emerson said something rich with truth when he stated, "The law of sowing and reaping."
So we're listening. Let's just finish.
Was the law of laws. Find out what other people want and help them get it. Keep repeating your affirmations until you become truly comfortable with money. A prosperity consciousness will attract to you abundance, and abundance is your birthright.
Okay, y'all, hold on. All right, that was good. Now, the if G plus E equals I, that was cool too. All right, and the MSI. All right, listen. We have listened on a much deeper level, a cosmic universal law level of money. So while we listen to this, we received this, I'm sure, for those of you who've been writing since earlier. And I'm sure from the notes you've taken earlier, your notes were at a higher level than what this is. Even with the 48 laws of money for women, right? That was good as well, right? So the point is, we have the understanding of the 7 laws of money, right? 7 laws of wealth, and so we have that written down, and so we all have an understanding. I'm saying we because y'all listening to whoever's been paying attention on a deeper level. This is why I keep saying, when did this person say name your money, right? When did this person talk about tithes, right? You see how that goes. So yeah, they give people keys, but they're still not really telling them anything. And that's why I said some of these videos I came across today, I'm like, damn, was I even supposed to come across this video with y'all watching me? And see, who knows? It could be that someone out there who's in the clouds watching and writing in your notebook and really taking everything that I play here very serious. It could be that was for you, or maybe you vibrationally sent that to me. You see what I'm saying? I understand and I appreciate it. So let's move on. I want to go back to Duchess Dollar. I just want to go to the actual
Waste your
page.
precious time waking up at 5 a.m., practicing those positive affirmations in the mirror, and drinking lemon water only to remain broke at the end of the month? Darling, you are doing everything wrong. I am Duchess Dollars, and today I will reveal the 18 habits that truly made me wealthy without having to break a sweat. Because sweating is something poor people do, not us. While other experts tell you to save on coffee, I am here to show you how to save energy. Yours, darling.
When I went to work yesterday, or for the past days I've been at work, right? And I was doing that position to handle the materials. When I tell you I worked at a pace, and I said, I am not sweating today. I swear I said that shit. I said, I'm not breaking a sweat. I will come and I will work this job at a pace. I will not work myself too hard. I will not wear my body down. I kept saying, I will not work away my beauty. I will work like a model today. Okay, that's what I did, and it's just that is so hilarious. That's all I wanted to say.
Because working hard is for the poor. Rich people work with strategy. Remember that scene from Succession, where Logan Roy says, some people need to do the dirty work. He was not talking about us, honey. He was talking about those people who still split the bill on the first date. I always say, if you are splitting the bill, you are doing charity, darling. What is happening? Most people believe they need to work 80 hours a week, abandon their social life, and sacrifice their mental health to become rich. This is the kind of advice that keeps you poor and tired. The truth is that wealth has much more to do with intelligent habits than with hard work. That is why you see so many exhausted people still struggling to pay bills. Habit 1. Wake up when your body tells you to, not when the alarm clock rings. Forget this talk about the 5 a.m. club. The true rich habit is to wake up when your body wants to. Have you ever thought how absurd it would be for Bill Gates to wake up with an alarm clock? He wakes up when he completes his sleep cycle. The first rule for becoming wealthy is having energy to make millionaire decisions, and that only happens when you sleep enough. Replace that irritating alarm with automatic curtains that open with natural light. Poor people are in a hurry. Rich people have rhythm. And remember, Monday is the new Friday. Who said you need to start the week stressed? My Mr. Millionaire used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day until he realized he...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did she just tell us to rest? Did she just say rest? Did your beauty sleep? Did I not say I'm not trying to stress myself getting up in the morning? I'm going to sleep and I'm going to get up and do whatever work I need to get done. Didn't I say that shit? I'm going to focus on the importance of sleep. I'm trying not to talk so much, but I have to because of copyright. And I'm up here and it is a show, you know. But like, seriously, y'all, come on now. You got to love this shit, man. You got to love it.
He was making terrible decisions after lunch due to pure exhaustion. You know that disastrous acquisition he made of the failed technology company? Well, that was a decision made at 3 p.m. after waking up at 5 a.m. Now that he sleeps his sacred 8 hours, the portfolio only grows. Science is on my side, darling. A Harvard University study showed that sleep deprivation costs the American economy $401 billion annually. Sleeping well is not a luxury. It is an investment. Do you think I maintain this porcelain skin and this sharp mind sleeping 5 hours a night? Absolutely not. I need to get up early at 10 a.m. to go to the gym. And even then, only when I feel like it. Working on Thursday? Only if I were greedy, darling. And greed is something poor people have who have not yet learned that quality of life is the true luxury. Habit 2. Delegate everything that costs less than your time. Are you still washing dishes, cleaning your house, or my God, doing your own nails?
Girl.
Darling, your time is worth more than that. A Harvard Business School study showed that buying time, not things, is what truly brings happiness. Calculate how much your hour is worth. If you want to earn $10,000 per month, your hour is worth approximately $60. Now think, is it worth spending an hour cleaning the house when you can pay $25 for someone to do it for you? This math is very simple, even for someone born without talent for numbers like me. My rule is clear. If it costs less to hire someone than the value of my hour, I delegate. And I do not feel any guilt. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg is worried?
When I tell you I'll be wanting to hire a maid, y'all think I'll be playing. Y'all think I'll be playing. When I tell y'all that I'll be wanting to hire a maid, I don't be playing. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Because if you can afford it, I've done it before in my project apartment. Okay? I've done it before. And I'm here to tell you, baby, it's worth it. I just remember to look up something. It's worth it. Very much worth it. All right. Hold on.
About changing the light bulb in the living room? Of course not. He is too busy creating empires. And so am I. And it is not just about household tasks. I delegate emails, research, scheduling, even gift selection.
Was that him?
My assistant knows exactly what to...
That sound like goddamn Warren Buffett, girl. That's what that was, Bob Proctor. I need y'all to understand why I'm cracking up. The Creator's Code works. The Creator's Code works. Make this shit applicable in your life. Y'all know I don't be playing. I really be with my journal writing shit down. I dead ass yesterday at work. I said I'm not sweating. I'm gonna tell you something else I did. My feet started hurting and we were close to clock out hours. I went in that bathroom and I swear to you, I sat my ass down. Wiped down that motherfucking toilet. I sure did. Put the little seat cover shit on the toilet. After I cleaned it down, I sat my ass down. And I looked at that motherfucking clock. I sure did. I stayed in that bitch for 5 fucking minutes. I made myself get rest. Got my ass up. Rested another minute by that water machine. Because, you know, you're going to be on camera. I said, let me make sure I don't put my phone in my hand. Because then, you know. Did that. Rested my head a little bit. Got up. And went back out there. Sure the fuck did. I said I will not break a sweat today. I did not work too hard. I worked at the pace I wanted to. One of the co-workers was like, slam in the box in the middle and shit. I said, nah, I'm good. I'm good doing it this way. Yeah. And I stacked my work up neatly too. In my own way, at my own pace, but the shit got done. And it got done neat. The fucking path of least resistance, y'all. Even when I had to pull a pallet jack and put a pallet on the other side of the room, one of the male co-workers was about to come help my ass. Nope, I pulled that shit like it was nothing and put that shit up like it was nothing. I sure did. I'm just laughing because I dead ass. She reminded me that I'm supposed to hire a maid. I dead ass told myself I'm gonna do that shit. Hold on, let's get back to the video.
To buy for Mr. Millionaire's mother's birthday. Always something expensive enough to impress, but not so expensive that it makes her think I am trying to buy her affection, although I am. The secret is this. Rich people do not try to do everything. They focus only on what only they can do. Everything else, they delegate without thinking twice. This is not laziness. It is strategy. Habit 3. Invest in yourself before anything else. You know that talk about pay yourself first? This does not just mean saving money. It means investing in you, your education, your appearance, your health. Because, darling, you are your greatest asset. While basic girls save to buy more fast fashion products, rich women invest in aesthetic procedures, coaching, and courses that increase their market value. As Warren Buffett says, not that I talk with him regularly or anything like that, the best investment is the one you make in yourself. Every month, without fail, I invest at least 10% of my income in myself. Whether it is a new course, a revolutionary skin treatment, or just a wellness retreat to restore my creative energy. This is not an expense, it is an investment with guaranteed return. When you invest in yourself, no one can take that away from you. Yeah. Your boyfriend may leave, especially if he is poor because you followed my advice and dismissed him. The market may fall, but your education, your skills, and your glow remain with you. I have seen many women saving on dental treatments while buying counterfeit bags. Totally wrong priorities, darling. Nobody will hire you for a 6-figure position with a smile that screams, I saved on the dentist. On the other hand, $1 million smile opens doors even if your bag is from last season. But please, do not let it be. Habit 4. Cultivate your network of contacts as if it were your Louis Vuitton garden. Have you not realized yet that your network is your net worth? Most people spend more time talking with people who have nothing to add than building valuable connections. Play golf once a week. Go to charity events. Take a water polo class. Where do you think I met Mr. Millionaire? It certainly was not in a fast food line, darling. The truth is that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you are surrounded by people who worry about the price of bread, guess what will occupy your mind? Exactly the price of bread, and not how to own the bakery. I do not mix with poor people. The energy is different. It is not snobbery, it is quantum physics. People with a scarcity mindset emit a different frequency than those with an abundance mindset. And you know what? That frequency is contagious. My social circle is carefully curated like a contemporary art exhibition. Each person adds value in some way, whether knowledge, connections, or simply the kind of elevated vibration that only someone who has never needed to check their balance before making a purchase can emit. Duchess tip. Always have 3 types of people in your circle. Mentors, people who are already where you want to be. Peers, people at your level for collaborations. And aspirants, people with potential who are still growing. And remember, you do not need to like everyone. Networking is not a friendship club, it is a growth strategy. Habit 5. Think like an investor, not like a consumer. Poor people ask, how much does it cost? Rich people ask, what is the return? I will confess something to you. I have bags that appreciate more than the dollar. While that basic friend of yours spends on clothes that depreciate as soon as they leave the store, I buy items that appreciate over time. Birkins, real estate in Miami, contemporary art, these are the purchases that make your assets grow. The next time you are going to buy something, ask yourself.
This is back interesting when I said that I purchased artwork from Adele Supreme. Who's on TV? Adele Supreme keep going and she keeps building her brand as Adele Supreme. Any artwork by Adele Supreme is going to have value. So I'm going to be able to go on Amazon, clean up, whatever, and plastic it up and be like, I have artwork by Adele Supreme, and flip the art. This also makes sense to me also why Lena has invested into artwork. She has purchased a lot of people's art and she's working with that other artist. So I see what she's doing there now. Because I was looking at that like it just, yeah. That's why she's flipping the artwork. She's flipping the money. So she's also with someone like her holding on and having that artwork on the wall, that gives that artist's work more value.
Will this be worth more or less in the future? If the answer is less, think twice. I will give you a practical example. Last year, I was deciding between buying another designer dress or investing in a small stake in a biotechnology startup. I chose the startup. The dress would be out of fashion in 6 months, but the startup just closed a funding round that valued my stake at 300%. Now I can buy 3 of those dresses with the return on investment. That is thinking like a rich person. And no, this does not mean you can never afford the luxury of buying something that depreciates. It means you need to have clarity when you are consuming and when you are investing. Consumption should be limited to a percentage of your income. In my case, a very generous percentage, I admit, but I never compromise my investments because of impulsive purchases. Habit 6. Learn to say no to poor proposals. Do you know what happens when you accept all invitations, opportunities, and proposals that appear? You become too busy to focus on what really matters. I have a simple rule. If it will not pay at least 5 digits or connect me with someone worth 8 digits, the answer is no.
Now, I have to write that one down for myself. Because remember, I told you I have made some fall flat collabs. I have made some time wasting collabs. Okay, I'll say my entire 30s I did that. And like I said, the last time I had to be like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, what do I benefit from this? You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Saying no to mediocre things opens space for the extraordinary ones. As they say in Silicon Valley, and no, I am not talking about Silicon Valley, that place in Los Angeles with all those plastic surgery clinics. If it is not an excited yes, it is a no now. My time is like my Hermes bag, extremely valuable and not available to just anyone. I declined 3 event invitations just this week because they did not add real value to my life or business. Was I criticized? Yes. Did I care? Absolutely not. Your ability to say no is directly related to your net worth. The richer you become, the more you realize that opportunities are infinite, but your time is not. Poor people say yes to everything because they are afraid of missing opportunities. Rich people say no to almost everything because they know better opportunities will come. Practice saying no without explanations. No, that will not be possible. Period. No excuses, no justifications. This is a financial superpower that few women master. Habit 7. Celebrate small victories as if they were big. Here is the secret that nobody tells. Wealth is a mental game. Rich people celebrate every step of the journey, not just the final destination. I celebrate when I make a good deal. I celebrate when I get a VIP discount. I celebrate when my little dog Chanel learns a new trick. This abundance mindset attracts more abundance. It is like the law of attraction. but with champagne and a black card. You do not wait to reach the top of the mountain to celebrate. You toast each step. With Moet, of course, not those supermarket sparkling wines. The other day, I closed a deal that increased my assets by 0.5%. For many, that would be nothing to celebrate. For me, I called my private chef and asked for a special dinner. Because when you recognize and celebrate progress, your brain produces dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters that increase your motivation and creativity. It is science, darling. And I take science very seriously, especially when it supports my desire to open a bottle of champagne on a Tuesday. Celebrating small victories is not frivolity. It is a neurological strategy to reprogram your brain for success. Habit 8. Read finance books as if they were gossip magazines. Financial knowledge is sexy, darling. I know more about the stock market than about reality shows. And look, I know quite a bit about reality shows. Set 20 minutes a day to learn about money. It can be listening to a podcast while doing your face mask or reading a book while on the treadmill. Walking slowly, of course, nobody wants to break a sweat. And remember, you do not need to understand everything. You need to understand enough not to be deceived by your investment manager, or worse, by your poor boyfriend who thinks he understands Bitcoin. When I go to the gym, yes, I go because a rich body does not maintain itself. I do not listen to pop music. I listen to audiobooks about investments, consumer psychology, and market trends. I have read more than 200 financial books in the last 5 years, all while doing my low-impact routine on the treadmill. Compound knowledge works exactly like compound interest. A little bit every day, and before you realize it, you are making decisions like a Wall Street veteran. The difference is that you will be doing it wearing Louboutins, not those horrible low-heel shoes that bankers wear. Transform your idle time into learning time. And no, scrolling through Instagram seeing influencers who pretend to be rich does not count as financial education. It needs to be content with substance, darling. Habit 9. Take care of your appearance as if it were your business card. It is not superficial, it is strategic. People judge by what they see, and I prefer to be judged as someone successful than as someone who needs help. Impeccable hair, radiant skin, quality clothes. This is not vanity, it is personal marketing. Do you think anyone trusts millions to a person who looks like they cannot even take care of themselves? When in doubt, dress for the job you want, not for the one you have. You will never see me in pajamas at home, unless it is a La Perla silk pajama. Your appearance communicates your relationship with money before you even open your mouth. Poorly. Done roots scream, I do not have a budget for regular maintenance. Worn out shoes whisper, I do not value details. Low quality jewelry announces, I accept less than I deserve. Duchess tip. Invest in a few high quality pieces instead of a closet full of mediocre items. A good blazer, a pair of impeccable shoes, a structured genuine leather bag. These pieces elevate any look, and more importantly, elevate how people perceive you. And please understand, I am not saying you need to wear luxury brands to look rich. I am saying you need to look well-groomed and attentive to details. There is a difference between looking expensive and looking quality. Focus on the second option while working to achieve the first. Habit 10. Learn the language of money as if it were your second language. Have you noticed how rich people have a different vocabulary? They do not spend, they allocate resources. They do not have debts, they have leverage. They do not save, they preserve capital. Start using these words. Your brain follows your mouth. When you change your language, you change your behavior. I never say something is expensive. I say, it is not yet the time to allocate resources in that direction. See how it sounds more intelligent and less poor? Another example, I never say I do not have money for something. Instead, I say I have other investment priorities at the moment. The first phrase comes from a place of scarcity, the second from abundance and conscious choice. This language change seems superficial, but it acts at the subconscious level. Our brain believes what we repeat to it.
I want to say, I find it very interesting, the difference of what the women are tapping into versus what the men are saying. Has anyone noticed that? And I'm not trying to make this a gender war thing, but I want y'all to all pay attention to that. Did you notice that with Frances Shen, Scoville Shen, right? And this Duchess, that's her name, what's her name? Duchess Dollar, right? Okay. Notice that how so in detail They're telling you how to manifest money, how to say your words. You see what I'm saying? Just what it is to have mentors, peers, aspirants. Networking is strategy. You see what I'm saying? Learn about money, stuff like that. You're not seeing this in these other, unless until we see the 48 laws of money. Let's go.
When you constantly refer to yourself as an investor instead of a buyer, your behavior begins to align with that identity. Try for a week. Replace their expenses curtain with the investments, financial problems with the cash flow challenges, save with accumulate capital. Observe how small changes in your language create big changes in your mindset. Habit 11. Have an opportunity fund, ready for when occasions arise. Poor people save for emergencies. Rich people save money for opportunities. It is a subtle mindset shift, but it makes all the difference. When you have money reserved for good occasions, you do not need to ask permission from anyone. Saw a property that will be valued? A promising business? A vacancy in an exclusive program? You are ready. My opportunity fund has already allowed me to buy stocks before they soared, invest in promising startups, and, yes, buy that limited bag that is now worth double. Not every opportunity comes with prior notice, darling. I have, at minimum, 15% of my net worth always available for unforeseen opportunities. Some call this idle money, but I call it strategic capital, because there is nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. Last year, a friend called me desperate. She needed to sell her beach house quickly due to a complicated divorce. She did not follow my advice about marrying a millionaire. But anyway, the property was easily worth $3 million, but she would accept 2.1 million for a quick and discreet sale. Guess who had the liquidity to make the offer the same day? Yours truly. 3 months later, I refused an offer of $3.5 million for the same property. Opportunities often appear disguised as other people's problems. Be ready to recognize them, and, more importantly, to finance them. Habit 12. Negotiate everything, even the non-negotiable. If there is one thing I learned from Mr. Millionaire, it is that everything is negotiable. Everything. Even when they say it is not. Bank fees? Negotiable. Hotel rates? Negotiable. Contracts? Always negotiable. The secret is knowing how to ask and being willing to get up and leave. Rich people know that the first price is just the beginning of the conversation. The power lies with whoever is willing to say no, thank you, and walk out the door. It is amazing how suddenly special discounts appear when you show that you are not afraid to refuse. Never accept the first number, whether it is the price of a car, the salary of a new job, or the rate of a loan. The first number is always a test to see if you know your value. Learn to ask, is this the best you can do? With a polite smile, or my favorite, I need to think a bit more, and then remain silent. Silence is uncomfortable, and people often fill that void with concessions. Do not be afraid to seem difficult or demanding. Men negotiate aggressively all the time and are called good negotiators. When women do the same, we are labeled as complicated. Ignore these labels. Your net worth will thank you. One last tip. Always have a second option. Negotiating with alternatives is negotiating with power. When you have a solid plan B, your ability to say no multiplies. And with it, your negotiating power. Habit 13. Automate your wealth as if it were your breakfast. Do you still manually transfer money to investments? How middle class, darling? Automated wealth is the way. Set up automatic transfers on the day you receive money. 30% for investments, 10% for your opportunity fund, 5% for education. The rest you can spend without guilt. When money leaves automatically, you do not even miss it. It is like a personal trainer for your pocket. It does the hard work while you get the credit for the results. Behavioral science shows that our willpower is a limited resource. Each decision we make throughout the day depletes this resource. Therefore, the more financial decisions you automate, the more mental energy remains for truly important decisions. I have my entire financial system automated. On payday, the money is already automatically distributed to different accounts and investments. I never see the total amount in my account, so I am never tempted to spend what should be invested. This is not just convenient, it is a protection strategy against your worst financial enemy, yourself. We all have that inner demon that whispers, "You deserve that bag," when we see money in the account. When you automate, that demon does not even get to see the money. Habit 14. Have multiple sources of income as you have multiple pairs of shoes. Depending on one salary is like having just one pair of Louboutins. What if they break? It is precarious, darling. Rich people have, on average, 7 sources of income. I am not saying for you to get 7 jobs, God forbid. I am talking about investments, royalties, dividends, passive income. Start with one extra source. It can be a blog, an online course, a small investment. Then go for 2, 3. Soon, you will have a complete collection of income sources, like I have of bags. My income comes from at least 8 different sources: stock dividends, bond yields, real estate rental, company stakes, my product line, royalties from my books, sponsorships from this channel, and yes, the generous allowance from Mr. Millionaire, negotiated annually with increases above inflation, of course. If one of these sources dried up tomorrow, my lifestyle would not be affected. That is what I call real security, not depending on a single payer. Start small, but start, even if it is just $100 per month from a secondary source. Over time, feed that source until it grows enough for you to start another. It is like that chess game with the rice grains that double with each square. It seems little at the beginning, but the growth is exponential. Habit 15. Eliminate financially toxic friendships. Do you have friends who are always broke, always need help, always have a new financial crisis? Time to clean up, darling. Financial problems can be contagious. If you spend time with people who have a bad relationship with money, you unconsciously absorb these patterns.
I'm trying to tell you, listen to this one. Listen to that one. I always something with me with people who got money issues. Okay? All right. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Hold on, y'all. It's something about anybody. Okay. I noticed how when I had my situation, when I first was here in my rent situation, and then I got rid of that person and my life began to change. I said, you know what? This motherfucking person is just not paying nothing. Right? Like that's what hit my spirit. I said, yo, this person is not responsible at all with their fucking bills. Okay? Like I mean, you do have to stay away from people who have energetically financial issues and shit all the time. I'm so serious. You do.
I am not saying to abandon friends in need, but to establish clear boundaries. As the flight attendant says, put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. Have you noticed how certain friends always appear when you celebrate a financial victory with a new crisis to solve, as if they could not bear to see you prospering? These are financial vampires, and they come in various forms. The eternal borrower always needs a temporary loan that is never returned. The subtle saboteur makes discouraging comments about your financial goals. The compulsive spender always convinces you to spend more than you planned. The financial victim, for whom everything is the fault of the economy, the government, the boss, never their own choices. If you want to change your financial reality, you need to change your social circle. This does not mean being cruel, just strategic. Gradually reduce time with people who do not share your financial values. Increase time with those who inspire you to grow. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely who is part of that average. Habit 16. Explore new cities like a luxury anthropologist. Traveling is not just for pleasure, it is market research. When I visit a new city, I do not just go to tourist spots. I investigate properties, meet local entrepreneurs, discover emerging trends. Some of my best opportunities came from trips. That seemed like just vacations to others. While tourists buy souvenirs, I buy stocks in real estate. Paris, Tokyo, Dubai. Each of these cities taught me a different lesson about wealth. And yes, you can deduct part of these research trips from your taxes. Consult your accountant first, of course. When I was in Aspen last year, I love Aspen. It is so exclusive. I did not spend all my time skiing. While other socialites were taking selfies on the slopes, I was having lunch with a real estate developer who gave me early access to a project investors could only enter 6 months later. My stake has already appreciated by 40%. In each city I visit, I make sure to meet at least one high-standard real estate broker, visit the emerging neighborhood that is not yet on the tourist radar, have meals at restaurants frequented by the local elite, not by tourists. Read the local business newspaper to understand the region's economy. Traveling as a luxury anthropologist means observing patterns, identifying opportunities, and creating connections that other tourists would never have. It is the difference between returning home with just photos or with a new investment in the portfolio. Habit 17. Invest in relationships as you invest in premium stocks. Do you carefully choose your stocks, but choose your relationships on impulse? What a poor strategy, darling. Relationships are long-term investments. Some people will appreciate over time. Others will drain your energy and resources without return. Analyze your social circle as you analyze your portfolio. Who is bringing positive dividends to your life? Who is constantly declining? It is time to make some adjustments in the social portfolio. I am not just talking about romantic relationships. Although obviously choosing your partner well is the biggest financial investment you will make in life. I am talking about all your connections, friends, colleagues, mentors, employees. For you to attract successful men, you need to be successful. You do not need to have a lot of money, it is not about that. But you need to have focus, determination, and excellence in some area of your life. Can you finish a diet? Start a project and complete it? Maintain a skincare routine for more than a week? Millionaire men seek women who demonstrate competence and commitment, not just beauty. Beauty attracts, but it is character that retains. And character, in the business world, means doing what you said you would do, when you said you would do it. Apply the investor mindset to your relationships. Do due diligence before committing. Monitor performance over time. And do not hesitate to divest when indicators are consistently negative. Habit 18. Never bet what you cannot lose with dignity. Last but not least, rich people never risk everything. I only play if the prize is a millionaire husband or a private island. Otherwise, my love, I prefer to bet on myself. Casinos, impulsive day trading, dubious businesses. These are traps for the aspirational middle class. True wealth comes from calculated decisions, not gambling. As I always say, do you want to play the lottery? Darling, you already lost when you were born poor. You will have to play the entrepreneurship game now. The difference between me playing and you playing is that I play with other people our money. If I lose, too bad for Mr. Millionaire. But even so, I prefer investments with calculated risk to luck bets. The only casino that interests me is Monte Carlo, because there, if you lose, at least you lose with class, champagne, and a Dior dress. And even then, I do not go there to play. I go to observe the players and potential networking targets. Because while everyone is looking at the cards, I am looking at who is dealing the cards. Gambling is like trusting an ugly boy. You know, it will go wrong, but you insist. Then you cry and still leave without a new bag. Casino is entertainment for those who have not yet learned that the greatest stroke of luck is a stable union with someone from Forbes. Rich people calculate risks. They do not embrace them blindly. Each bet they make is preceded by research, analysis, and often, privileged information that the general public does not have. They never risk what they cannot lose comfortably. They never compromise their current lifestyle for a chance to improve it. This is perhaps the most important habit of all, protecting what you have already achieved while working to achieve more. Because it does no good to climb 3 steps up the wealth ladder if you fall 5 in the process. And there it is, darling. The 18 habits that transformed me from an ordinary girl into Duchess dollars, living the life of my dreams without having to break a sweat. Because, as I always say, rich people work with glamour. Poor people work with sweat. Do not get me wrong. There still needs to be work, but the type of work changes. Poor people work with their muscles. Middle-class people work with their minds. Rich people work with relationships and strategy. If you have not yet found your sugar daddy or your millionaire boy, the way is to stay here with me and learn to be rich on your own. I know your dream was to be born an heiress, but since that did not happen, be a visionary. When you understand that you can be rich, you will understand that you can do anything. Poverty is a state of mind, darling. And state of mind can be changed more easily than marital status. Believe me, I have been through 3 husbands to prove this theory. Implementing these habits will not transform you into a millionaire overnight. Even being born rich like Me, I still needed at least a week to become a millionaire. Laughs. But seriously, adopting these attitudes will fundamentally change your relationship with money, time, and value. Start by choosing just 3 of these habits to implement in the next 30 days. Do not try to do everything at once. That is what desperate poor people do. Rich people know that consistency overcomes intensity. Small daily changes lead to big transformations over time. And for all of you who made it this far, I would like to thank you for the time invested with me. Yes, it was an investment because time is money, and I just saved you years of trial and error by sharing these secrets. If you liked this video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video full of tips for you to succeed in life just like me. And if you really liked it, leave in the comments.
All right, y'all. Let me just go ahead and check out her channel before we get to the 48 Laws of Money, because we're going to actually go to the book. Secrets rich women know about success that no one ever told you. We're going to watch that one next. Let me just see what the videos is. From broke to powerful in 3 months. You're in ruin because you do this. 8 poor people habits that are keeping you broke. Environments that block your wealth. 10 places poor people love and women will never put their Louboutins. Okay. See, I called that out too. I said there's places I don't even want to go to no more. Okay, so I picked her channel for a reason. Shit. Environments that block your wealth. How long is this video? I mean, we got time, y'all. I mean, we do. I'm here, so I just don't go no more than 2 hours. Y'all already know. The most I go is like 2 hours, and then the most is 2 hours and 30, if depending what we're watching. If I'm not looking, we're already almost at 2 hours. Okay, so get your notebooks ready. We're going to go to this one first. Secrets rich women know about success and the environments that block your wealth. Okay, so we're going to go to this one, then we're going to go to the environments, then we're going to go to the book.
Your bank account is crying, but you are still buying those fake designer bags thinking you look rich. Meanwhile, wealthy women are sitting in their home offices that cost less than your rent, tracking every dollar in their spreadsheets, and building empires while you are still trying to figure out if you should pay your credit card minimum or eat this month. I am Duchess Dollars, and today I am spilling the tea on secrets that millionaire women know about success that nobody told you about. And trust me, it is not what you think. Want a reality check? 64% of millionaires live in normal houses. They are rich but do not need to prove anything to anyone. Unlike you, who is about to post your bank statement on Instagram stories asking for prayers. You know what the difference is between you and a self-made millionaire woman? She knows her numbers. She tracks every single penny that comes in and goes out. Want to know what separates you from wealth? A spreadsheet. Sad, right? Every Saturday morning, I grab my gourmet coffee and sit down with my spreadsheet to review everything I spent during the week. Not because I am cheap, darling, but because controlling your money is chic. And who does not control their money is controlled by it. Riqueza é método, honey. Wealth is method. Rico trabalha com glamour. Pobre trabalha com suor. And you still think sweating is attractive? The first secret wealthy women know is that they start investing early and never stop. They understand compound interest is their best friend. While you are over there thinking about investing someday when you have more money, they are putting money away every single month like clockwork. They max out their 401k contributions instead of just getting the employer match. But here comes the plot twist that will make you uncomfortable. Being poor and thinking appearance is everything is like putting perfume on garbage. It still stinks, but with style. Listen carefully because this will shock you. The Kardashians might be born rich, but they work like they are about to be fired from their fortune. And you are over there thinking that sending $50 Pix transfers to your broke boyfriend is investing in the relationship. Here is what will blow your mind about rich women. They buy homes that cost no more than 3 times their annual income. Yes, you heard that right. While you are out here trying to lease a BMW to look successful, they are driving their paid-off Honda and investing the difference. Because looking rich and being rich are 2 completely different things, and only one of them pays your bills. You know what wealthy women do not do? They do not waste their precious Saturday mornings watching the third season of Selling Sunset dreaming about the house. They are studying how to buy the entire building. But here is the real secret that will make you squirm in your fake Gucci chair. Wealthy women never stop learning. They treat education like their full-time job. They listen to audiobooks during their commute, read industry publications, and stay informed about current events. While you are scrolling through TikTok for 3 hours a day watching other people live their best life, they are consuming content that adds value to their careers and bank accounts. Still think mindset is just coach nonsense? Well, it is what separates the lady from the manicurist. Speaking of discomfort, let me tell you about their morning routines. Successful women wake up early, work out regularly, and start their day with intention. They do not roll out of bed and rush into chaos. They understand that how you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. And no, it is not about waking up at 4 a.m. and running a marathon. It is about creating calm, intentional space for activities that improve your mindset and prepare you for success. Want to guarantee your place in heaven? Marry a poor man. But if you want to guarantee a private jet, stay here with me. Now here comes the part that might hurt your feelings. Wealthy women think differently about money than struggling women. They assume they will be successful. They assume they will have impressive income. They assume they will have savings and wealth. Meanwhile, struggling women think about money like a dream. They want to pay bills and help their families, but they never actually expect to be wealthy. Your mindset is keeping you broke, honey. Ready for another reality check? You save money on therapy, but spend $800 on weekends to feel alive. Then you complain that the universe is not conspiring in your favor. And can we talk about spending for a hot minute? Self-made millionaire Tori Dunlap spends unapologetically on 3 things that bring her joy: travel, dining, and plants. The difference is, she identified what matters to her and cuts ruthlessly on everything else. Wealthy women practice mindful spending, which means every purchase decision is intentional and aligned with their financial goals. They are not depriving themselves, they are being strategic about where their money goes. You still think luxury is showing off. I call it basic necessity. But here is what nobody talks about. Wealthy women know that adaptability is important. Any situation can change quickly, and they remain willing and open to change. They understand that their first plan may not be the best one, and they are comfortable with the fact that mistakes happen. While you are over there crying because your 5-year plan did not work out exactly as expected, they are pivoting and finding new opportunities. Want to know something that will make you question everything? Rihanna became a billionaire not because of her music, but because she studied business strategy with Fenty. Female wealth is not luck, darling. It is strategy. And speaking of opportunities, here is another secret. Before wealthy women invest with someone, they check the trail. Who did this person learn from? Who is their mentor and coach? They would rather pay the source. They are not falling for get-rich-quick schemes or buying courses from people who made their money selling courses about making money. They invest in themselves through education, but they are strategic about who they learn from. Now let me share something that might change your life. There is a course I recently discovered called Look Rich Without Spending Much, and let me tell you, this is exactly what I am talking about. This course teaches you the visual codes, behavioral patterns, and social signals that wealthy women use to command respect and open doors. Because here's the truth, darling. How you present yourself to the world matters. And right now, it is available at promotional launch pricing because the lessons are being released gradually. Once the course is complete, the price goes up to full value with no discount. The link is in the description, and trust me, this is the kind of investment in yourself that wealthy women make without hesitation. But back to the secrets. Are you ready for this bombshell? Wealthy women focus on multiple income streams. They explore side hustles, business ventures, investment income, or rental properties. They understand that relying on just one source of income is risky in today's economy. While you are complaining about your boss not giving you a raise, they are creating their own opportunities and building passive income streams. Here is something that will shock you to your core. Despite the fact that 90% of women will be solely responsible for their finances at some point in their lives, 61% of women would rather talk about their death than money. But wealthy women, they talk about money all the time. They ask questions, they negotiate. They are not embarrassed about wanting more. Do you want to know what really separates millionaire women from everyone else? They understand that their thoughts create feelings. Those feelings create actions, and those actions create results. If you are thinking, what if I do not have clients next month? You are going to feel fearful, which leads to actions like cutting marketing spend or lowering prices, which creates the result of having fewer clients. But if you think, I have enough right now and I know I am creative and resourceful, you feel abundant, which leads to confident actions and better results. Are you still with me? Because this next part might hurt. Wealthy women purchase based on what they enjoy, not based on heavily marketed brands. They are not buying designer bags to impress people they do not even like. They are investing in experiences, education, and assets that appreciate in value. That fake designer bag you bought? It is worth $0 the minute you walk out of the store. But the course you take to learn a new skill, that can pay you back for years. Ready for another wake-up call? Kim Kardashian studied law not for Instagram content, but because she understood that knowledge equals power equals money. While you are watching her reality show, she is building legal expertise that multiplies her influence and wealth. The truth is, becoming wealthy is not about making one perfect decision or getting lucky. It is about developing daily habits that compound over time to create lasting financial success. It takes an average of 21 to 32 years for different types of millionaires to build their wealth, depending on their path. The key is starting today and staying consistent with these habits, even when the results are not immediately visible. Want another dose of reality? The only casino that interests me is Monte Carlo, because there, if you lose, at least you lose with class, champagne, and a Dior dress. You want to play the lottery? Honey, you already lost when you were born poor. Now you have to play the entrepreneurship game. But here comes the uncomfortable truth. I do not gamble because I prefer certainty. And certainty, my dear, is inheritance, signed contracts, and joint accounts with the CEO. Betting is like trusting an ugly boy. You know it will go wrong, but you insist. Then you cry and still leave without a new handbag. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to stop pretending to be rich and start actually building wealth? Because the choice is yours, darling. You can keep parcelando o arroz and seis veces no mercado, or you can start implementing the strategies that actual wealthy women use to build their empires. Here is my final reality check for you. Casino is entertainment for those who have not learned that the biggest stroke of luck is a stable union with someone from Forbes. I do not play, honey. I invest. And the best investment is always a good relationship with someone who is already rich. If you want to learn how to be rich instead of just looking like you might be someday, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Leave a like if you're ready to stop being broke and start building real wealth. And let me know in the comments, what is your biggest money mindset block right now? I have left links to several wealth building resources in my pin.
I just looked at her website. Then we go to environments that block your wealth, and then we can get to 48 laws of money.
You know what Oprah and Martha Stewart have in common besides building million-dollar empires? You will never see them waiting in line at a gas station convenience store playing scratch-off tickets. Coincidence? Of course not, darling. Gwyneth Paltrow does not stop at Walmart at 2 in the morning to buy discounted bread. And I am certain that Kim Kardashian has never shared a table at a dive bar complaining about life with friends. Because when you discover where the wealthy go and where they never set foot, you understand exactly what is keeping you from getting there. Have you ever noticed there are places where you never see successful people? Places that seem to drain the energy from anyone who wants to prosper? Today I am going to show you 10 environments that people with a poverty mindset love to frequent, but that wealthy women avoid like they are toxic. And it is not snobbery, darling. It is strategy. If you want to learn to be rich and finally escape the life of someone who maxed out their credit card this week, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and leave that like. Because today you are going to discover the secret codes of wealth that nobody tells you about. Block 1. Gambling establishments and lottery venues. First place, lottery outlets and any gambling establishments. Darling, have you ever stopped to think why you never see a millionaire woman in line at the lottery counter? Is it because they are too lucky or because they are too smart? Listen to the story. Last week, I ran into an acquaintance of mine at the lottery place. She was there with 3 small children, spending $50 on Powerball tickets. $50. That could have bought school supplies for the kids or invested in online training. But no, she preferred to dream about hitting it big. The result? 0. The children continued without their supplies, and she continued complaining that she has no money. I only gamble if the prize is a millionaire husband or a private island. Otherwise, my love, I prefer to bet on myself. The difference between me and you playing is that I play with other people's money. If I lose, tough luck for Mr. Millionaire. Slot machines are entertainment for those who have not yet learned that the biggest jackpot is a stable union with someone from Forbes magazine. Gambling is like trusting an ugly guy. You know it will go wrong, but you insist. Then you cry and still leave without a new purse. Do you really want to be rich? Or do you just want to keep pretending you are trying? Block 2. Chaotic farmers markets. Second place that poor people love. Farmers markets during peak hours. Saturday morning farmers market? That is the equivalent of a fashion apocalypse, darling. Sweaty people pushing carts smelling like fish and shouting vegetable prices like it is an art auction in Monaco. Have you ever seen a rich woman competing for space in a crowd that looks like a zombie invasion? I do frequent the market near my house, but there is a difference between going strategically and throwing yourself into chaos. I go on Thursday morning when it is organized. I can choose the best products without stress and without looking like I survived a civil war. The Saturday morning market looks like a battlefield. People are shouting tomato prices with the same intensity as announcing the Pope's arrival. Loud music coming from 3 different stalls creating a symphony of desperation. And there is always that person who cuts in line like they are running to save their own life. A rich woman does not compete for space in a crowd. She chooses strategic times, has relationships with suppliers, and prioritizes quality over saving pennies. You will not see me fighting over a mango at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, looking like a supermarket gladiator. Have you noticed that overly crowded places usually mean empty accounts? Block 3. Complaint circles and dive bars. 3rd place. Conversation circles where the agenda is just complaining. If you love to sit in dive bars to turn situations into theatrical spectacles, you are sabotaging your own prosperity mindset. Listen to what happened with a former friend of mine. Every Friday, she gathered work colleagues at a bar for what she called group therapy. 3 hours talking bad about the boss, complaining about salary, criticizing the company, dissecting each colleague's personal life. It was like a reality show, but with no prize at the end. At the end of the year, when they opened positions for promotion, guess who was not even considered? Her. The energy you put into complaining is energy not being invested in solutions. While you are there distilling bitterness, someone is at home studying for the next opportunity. Small people talk about people, great people talk about ideas, and rich people talk about results. I prefer to dine with women who talk about plans, investments, opportunities. When my friends start complaining too much, I change the subject or change tables. Block 4. Gossip environments. 4th place. Any environment where the main entertainment is talking badly about others. Have you noticed that those who live on gossip never prosper? It is a universal rule, darling. While some are spending mental energy analyzing other people's lives, others are building their own lives. It is like choosing between being a protagonist or eternal commentator on other people's soap operas. Gossip is like a banking app for someone who is in the red. You keep checking obsessively, but that does not change the reality of your problems. I do not waste time discussing who did what. I am too busy making things happen. Are you surrounded by those who root for you or those who root against you? Block 5. Simultaneous conversations without listening. 5th place. Environments where everyone talks at the same time and nobody listens to anyone. Poverty is not just financial, darling. It is also intellectual and behavioral. Have you ever tried to have an intelligent conversation in a place where everyone is screaming?
That right there is so fucking true. A lot of poor hood places, there's a lot of talking, a lot of over talking, a lot of loudness. Even at work, it's loud, a lot of talking, a lot of laughing. The lady, yes.
It is impossible. It looks like a convention of panicked parrots. People with a wealth mindset seek environments with few sensory stimuli, where active listening and respectful exchange of ideas prevail. If you are in an environment where they need to scream to communicate, get out of there. Your nervous system and your ability to concentrate will thank you. Rich people do not scream to be heard. Rich people speak softly and everyone leans in to listen. Speaking of wealth codes, I need to tell you about a discovery that completely changed the way I am perceived in the world. There is a course called Look Rich Without Spending Much that is at promotional launch value because the classes are being released gradually. This course teaches exactly the visual, behavioral, and social codes that rich women naturally master. How to dress, how to speak, how to behave in different environments. It is the difference between being treated like just anyone or being treated like someone important. You know when you enter a place and some people are automatically treated with more respect. It is not coincidence. They know the codes. As soon as the course is complete, the value goes up to full price without discount. If you want to be seen and treated like a classy woman, even if you are still building your wealth, this is your chance. The link is in the description. I am an affiliate of the course and recommend it because it really works. Block 6. Knick-knack stores. 6th place. Knick-knack and household utility stores. Those colorful stores where everything is cute, useful, and cheap. It is the Disney of financial mediocrity, darling. You enter to buy a dish towel and leave with a bag full of little things you did not even know you needed. It is as if the store has a spell that transforms zero necessity into maximum impulse. While you are enchanted with the $15 decorative doll, someone is investing the same $15 that, in 10 years, can become $150. Impulse buying, even if it is something cheap, is a sign of mental scarcity. A rich woman only enters these places with a list in hand and a specific objective. She does not browse stores as entertainment because she knows they are environments designed to stimulate unnecessary consumption. How many objects do you have at home that you bought because it was cheap and never used again? Block 7. Toxic WhatsApp groups. 7th place. WhatsApp groups where only tragedies, chain messages, and bad jokes circulate. The way you use your phone reveals more about your mindset than you imagine. If you wake up and the first thing you see is accident videos, religious chains, and lame jokes, that programs your brain for failure before even having morning coffee. It is like starting the day with an intravenous dose of pessimism. I silently leave groups like that. My time is too valuable to spend watching tragedies at breakfast. I prefer to wake up seeing my stocks rising and planning my next conquests. Block 8. False ostentation events. 8th place. Ostentation events by people who do not have real wealth. It is the financial illusion festival where everyone pretends to be rich to impress others who are also pretending. Rich wannabes love to get together to look actually rich. But people with a wealth mindset avoid this exhibitionism. It is like a contest of who can spend money they do not have in the most spectacular way. A truly rich woman does not need to prove anything to anyone. She avoids places where vanity and ego speak louder than common sense because she knows this attracts unnecessary attention and can even compromise security. Ostentation is for those who do not have financial security. Those who have real money invest in discretion and quality, not in shows for an audience of envious people. Block 9. Neighborhood parties with loud music. 9th place. Neighborhood parties with loud music that go on until dawn. I am not talking about organized events, but those street parties that take over the streets like a musical invasion. Places where noise, disorganization, and lack of respect predominate, drain your energy, and affect your quality of life. It is impossible to have thoughts of prosperity when you are being bombarded by chaotic stimuli. A rich woman prioritizes environments that contribute to her physical and mental well-being. She understands that where you put your body, you are also putting your mind. Are your environments energizing you or draining you? Block 10. Environments where envy predominates, 10th and final place. Any environment where envy is the predominant feeling. Envy destroys relationships and can even destroy lives, as we recently saw in the tragic case of the young woman who poisoned friends out of pure envy. If you feel that your success bothers the people around you, it is time to change your social circle urgently. You deserve to be surrounded by people who celebrate your victories, not who do voodoo hoping you fail. Rich people prefer to be with those who learn, grow, and root for them. Envy is scarcity energy, and scarcity is contagious. If you want abundance, you need to surround yourself with people who vibrate at the same frequency. Do the people around you celebrate your victories or look for flaws in your successes? Look what we discovered today. You are the average of the 5 places you frequent. And if one of those places has plastic chairs and French fry portions, you already know what you need to cut from your life. Every Saturday morning, I take my gourmet coffee and update my expense spreadsheet. Wealth is method, darling. Because those who control money are chic, and those who do not control are controlled by it. If you continue frequenting the same places as always, do not complain that your bank account also continues the same. Life change begins with environment change. Do you want to continue being a supporting character in places where everyone complains about life? Or do you want to be the protagonist in environments where everyone builds wealth? The places you frequent have shaped your mindset unconsciously. If you want to change your life, you first need to change environments, because poverty energy is contagious, but wealth energy is too. Leave here in the comments which of these places you need to cut from your life. And if you understood that the time has come to frequent the right places, comment wealth energy, so I know you are ready for transformation. If you really want to be rich, you need to start thinking like rich. And thinking like rich includes strategically choosing where you put your energy, your time, and your presence. Until the next video, keep winning in life, because when you understand that you can be rich, you will understand that you can do anything.
Alrighty, y'all. Let's get it going a little bit further.
Darling, let me tell you something. Do you know the difference between those who struggle forever and those who suddenly appear with a Chanel bag, a new apartment, and vacations in the Maldives? It's not luck. It's not destiny. And it's definitely not that ridiculous manifestation journal your broke friend won't stop talking about. It's making radical decisions when everyone else is in their comfort zone. While they're saving 5% of their salary to retire at 85, you could be building wealth faster than my last husband's baldness. And I'm Duchess Dollars, so trust me when I say I know a thing or two about rapid transformation. You see, the average American woman takes 7 years to double her income.
$100 in your bank account or
Let's do the tips. 27 tips to stop living like a poor person and start working like a future millionaire.
$100,000. The difference is in how you think, not in what you earn. I am Duchess Dollars, and if you are tired of living counting every dollar as if it were your last, pay attention. I am 35 years old with a face of 20, and I know exactly why you still do not have that private jet to cry your luxury tears. Mr. Millionaire always tells me, Duchess, people are not poor, they just think poor. And you know, between AE, dive in our gold pool, and my 5 o'clock tea with Swarovski crystals, I realized he is right. The problem nowadays is that everybody wants to be rich, but nobody wants to do what the rich do. They go to TikTok to learn dancing when they should be learning about assets. They dream about an iPhone while I dream about the next building I will buy in Manhattan. While you are worrying about the payment for your economy car, I am deciding which country to visit on my next extended weekend. And it is not because I was born rich. Although, of course, that would have made my life much easier. What differentiates me from you is that I stopped thinking like a poor person and started thinking like a millionaire long before I had my first million. And my little dog Chanel agrees with me. Even she knows it is better to drink water from a silver bowl than champagne from a plastic cup. Today, I will share 27 tips that will transform your mindset from how do I pay my bills to where do I park my third yacht. If you want to change the game, subscribe to the channel, click like, activate the bell, and let us go. Because being rich is not only for those who are born rich, but it is much easier, right? The tips that will take you from a rented apartment to your own penthouse. 1. Stop thinking small. While you are saving to buy a cheap pair of shoes, I am buying the entire store. The difference? Mindset. Think big. If you dream of having $10,000, why not $10 million? Your brain is like a GPS. If you program the destination as mediocre, that is exactly where you will arrive. Do you know what your problem is, darlings? You limit your dreams. I want a stable job. I want to pay my bills on time. I want my own house. This is the minimum. It is like saying your goal in life is to breathe. Of course you want to breathe, but what next? Where is your yacht? Your bag collection? Your empire? Naval Ravikant, a Silicon Valley billionaire, almost as rich as my husband, says, seek wealth, not money or status. And he is right. Wealth is having freedom. It is waking up and thinking, what do I want to do today? And not, what do I have to do today? It is the difference between obligation and choice. 2. Understand that wealth is not money. Poor people chase after salary. Rich people build assets. You need to create things that generate money while you sleep, like my husband, who does not even need to be awake to become richer. Assets, darling, not overtime. Let me explain to you in simple terms for your limited budget brain. Money is just the side effect of assets. Your car? That is a liability. It only drains your money. My private jet? It is also a liability, but I have enough assets to afford several private jets. What are assets? They are things that work for you when you are too busy shopping or drinking champagne. Real estate that generates rent, businesses that function without you, investments that grow on their own, royalties from a book, or, as in my case, a millionaire. Husband, he is also an asset which generates many other assets. 3. Stop mixing with poor people. The energy is different, darling. When was last time your tight budget friend gave you an investment tip that changed your life? Never, because he is too busy complaining about the price of gas. Frequent places where money circulates, golf clubs, polo events, or, at minimum, the restaurant of that 5-star hotel. Order a small coffee and observe the millionaires. I do not mix with poor people. The energy is different. This is not arrogance, it is quantum physics applied to finances. You are the average of the 5 people with whom you spend the most time. If these 5 people are always complaining about money, guess what will dominate your thoughts? Have you noticed that rich people do not talk about money all the time? They talk about opportunities, ideas, expansion. Poor people talk about bills, problems, how the world is unfair. Rich people talk about solutions, growth, how the world is full. of possibilities. Where can you find rich people? Golf clubs, polo tournaments, expensive hotel restaurants. Order a coffee and stay there observing. Art openings, charity auctions, and of course, in first class on airplanes. Do you think your Prince Charming will find you at the bus stop? Please. 4. Invest in yourself. Rich people work with glamour, poor people work with sweat. Every dollar you spend on education, appearance, and connections is an investment in your rich future. While other women are asking for enough to pay the bills, I am asking for enough to buy the company that issues the bills. Have you heard that story that you have to spend money to make money? Well, it is true. But it is not just any expense, darling. It is strategic investment. When you invest in yourself, you are buying shares in the most important company in the world. You Inc. My personal stylist costs a fortune, but each look he creates for me opens doors to new connections. My international etiquette course taught me how to behave at dinners with the global elite. My coaching sessions with CEOs gave me the confidence to speak as an equal with any billionaire. Working is not for everyone, darling. It is for those who did not know how to invest in themselves. I work, of course, but I do it with glamour, not with sweat. The difference is in the previous investment. 5. Learn to sell. If you do not know how to sell, you will not get rich. Period. It does not matter if it is your image, your product, or your idea. Everything in life is selling. I did not choose a husband just for his money, but it helped. It helped a lot. Life is a big negotiation. From convincing your parents to let you stay up late as a child, to getting that apartment with a discount, or making your boss give you a raise. Everything is selling. I sell my lifestyle every day on social media. I sell my presence when I enter a restaurant. I sold the idea to Mr. Millionaire that I would be the perfect wife. And guess what? He bought it, and he is satisfied with the acquisition. Learn to sell your value. If you cannot convince others that it is worth investing in you, how do you expect anyone to do it? As my rich grandmother used to say, if you do not value what you have to offer, no one else will. 6. Develop your specific knowledge. Everyone can learn to make a spreadsheet in Excel, darling, but not everyone can do what you do uniquely. Find what you do better than most and turn it into your gold mine. Specific knowledge cannot be outsourced or automated. Specific knowledge is that which cannot be easily taught. It is what comes from the unique intersection of your talents, interests, and experiences. In my case, it is my ability to transform any social situation into a networking opportunity, my eye for art investments, and my ability to make any rich man feel like the center of the universe for exactly 3 minutes, enough time to spark interest. What do you have that no one else has? Is it your unique voice, your aesthetic sense, your intuition for trends, your ability to explain complex concepts simply? Find it and amplify it. And remember, specific knowledge does not come from school. It comes from practice, experimentation, curiosity. School can teach you formulas, but it cannot teach you to have that je ne sais quoi that makes others want what you have. 7. Stop trying to save, start earning more. Putting water in shampoo is something done by people who date poor men. While you are cutting out coffee, I am buying the coffee shop. The problem is not how much you spend, it is how much you earn. Earn more and stop living this life of scarcity. So many people out there talking about minimalism, about living with less, about saving. How sad. Saving is admitting that you cannot earn more. It is accepting that
Years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, I was trying to live a minimalist lifestyle. And the more money I started making, the more abundance I started having, the more things start coming to me. And I'm just like, I don't know about that minimalist lifestyle. Okay. I'm just saying, because I was like, I actually like living more like this than the minimalist lifestyle. Yeah, let's get back to it.
potential has a low ceiling, like that 1-bedroom apartment you share with 2 friends. If you want to learn to be economical, date a poor person. He will teach you. He will make you put water in shampoo, and that shampoo is 2 in 1. He will convince you that dining at home watching Netflix is romantic, when in reality it is just cheap. He will explain to you why a used car has more personality than a new one. I am not saying you should be irresponsible with money. I am saying that energy directed at saving $5 here and $10 there could be better used to find ways to earn $500 or $1,000 more per month. 8. Use the internet to your advantage. The digital world is the greatest equalizer of opportunities that has ever existed. If you are not using the internet to create wealth, you are like someone who has a private plane and goes by bus. Create content, automate, scale. The internet has exponentially expanded the potential growth space of careers, but most people have not realized this yet. They use the internet to scroll through feeds and watch videos of kittens when they could be building a digital empire. Do you know what is fascinating about the internet? It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. While you sleep, someone on the other side of the world could be discovering your work, buying your product, or falling in love with your brand. It is like having an army of salespeople working for you nonstop. I have videos being watched right now while I am talking to you. I have ads being clicked. I have products being purchased. And do you know where I am? Here, recording more content, creating more digital assets that will work for me for the next few years. That is what rich people do. 9. Have strategic patience. Wealth is like good wine or a quality cosmetic procedure. It takes time. Returns come from compound interest, whether in investments, knowledge, or relationships. Those who want to get rich overnight end up poor or selling courses to fools. All returns in life, whether in wealth, relationships, or knowledge, come from compound interest. This means that at the beginning, it seems like nothing is happening. You invest, work, build, and the results are minimal. But if you persist, at some point the curve bends upward and growth becomes exponential. That is why I do not believe in quick enrichment. I do not believe in get rich in 30 days. I believe in consistently building assets over time. I believe in participating in repeated actions, doing the same right things repeatedly until they produce extraordinary results. My marriage to Mr. Millionaire? It is a long-term investment. My appearance? Long-term investment. My reputation? Long-term investment. My businesses? You already understood. The difference between amateurs and professionals is that amateurs give up when they do not see immediate results. Professionals know it is just a matter of time. 10. Choose your partners intelligently. Whether a business partner or husband, choose someone with 3 qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. If he is ugly but has these qualities and money, give him a chance. If he is ugly, poor, and still cheats on you, darling, let that be a lesson. Ugly boys, stop cheating. We only give you a chance because we want peace. If you also give us headaches, there is no advantage. Stop. It is advice that I give for free to women and to men. For business, the rule is the same. I prefer to work with someone who has integrity and less experience than with an expert without character. Skills can be learned, but character is much harder to change. If I realize I cannot trust someone, that person is immediately on my bye-bye babies list. Choosing the right partner, whether for love or for business, is probably the most important decision you will make. It will determine your social circle, your stress level, your opportunities, your growth. So do not rush. A man may not choose a woman just for her beauty, but that certainly counts a lot. I, for example, do not choose a man just for the money he has, but it helps. It helps a lot. 11. Run away from skeptics and pessimists. This will not work, yo. It is too risky. Nobody succeeds. These phrases are the national anthem of poor people. Stay away from those who limit your dreams. I do not let poor energy anywhere near my Hermes bag closet. Pessimists love to say they are realists. Lie. They are just people without imagination, without courage, and often without talent. They tried, failed, and now they want everyone to fail together so they do not feel so bad. Have you noticed that? Rich people rarely say this is impossible. They say, how can we make this happen? It is a subtle difference, but fundamental. One mindset looks for obstacles, the other looks for solutions. I do not partner with skeptics and pessimists. Their beliefs only bring satisfaction to themselves. It is the perverse pleasure of saying, I told you so, when something goes wrong. I prefer to surround myself with realistic dreamers, people who have big visions, but also know how to execute them. 12. Understand that you deserve to be rich. God created Eve from Adam's rib, not from the cheapest bone in the body. He chose premium. You should too. Being poor is not humility, it is lack of vision. Many women have a complicated relationship with money and success. They were taught to be nice, modest, not to ask for too much. This cultural conditioning is one of the biggest traps to keep you poor. When Jesus said, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God," he certainly was not talking about rich women. After all, every queen deserves a crown, whether on earth or in heaven. Intelligent woman is self-interested because being self-interested is accepting what you deserve. You are born to have the best, and you cannot be with someone who does not give you the minimum. This is not just a relationship philosophy. It is a life philosophy. Demand the best in all areas: career, friendships, environment, education. Why? Because you deserve it. 13. Learn to use leverage. Capital, people, technology, and media. These are your levers. Use them to multiply your results. A video can reach millions while you sleep. Software runs 24/7. Mr. Millionaire taught me this even before our first dinner. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum, and I will move the world. This is not just a beautiful phrase from Archimedes. It is the essence of wealth creation. Fortunes require leverage. Without leverage, you are limited to the direct exchange of your time for money. And there is a limit to how much time you have. Traditional leverages, capital and labor, require permission. You need someone to invest in you or work for you. But modern leverages, programming and media, do not require permission from anyone. You do not need to be a programmer to use technology as leverage. Use tools already created, automate your business, create systems that work without you. And media, it is my favorite leverage. This video, for example, will work for me for years, attracting followers, establishing my authority, generating revenue. All this while I am busy doing something much more interesting, like choosing the destination for my next international trip. 14. Work intensely, but on what matters. Do not confuse movement with progress. Work hard, yes, but on high-value activities. My routine? I only wake up at 10 a.m. because I work with intelligence, not with desperation. I need to wake up early at 10 a.m. to go to the gym. This is not laziness, it is prioritization. Work as much as you can, but on the right things. Movement is not achievement. Being busy does not mean being productive. On average, people spend 80% of their time on tasks that generate only 20% of the results. The rich do the opposite. They focus 80% of their time on activities that generate 80% of the results. It is the difference between efficiency, doing many things, and effectiveness, doing the right things. And working on Thursday is only if I were greedy. Monday is the new Friday. Sad Tuesdays is the day I pretend to work. It is not about working less, it is about working better. Identify your high-value activities. In my case, they are creating premium content, cultivating strategic relationships, studying market trends, and keeping my millionaire husband happy, which, let us agree, is also high-value work. 15. Define the value of your hour. If something costs less to outsource than the value of your hour, outsource it. Do you think I wash my own champagne glass? Please. One of the first lessons I learned from Mr. Millionaire was to calculate the value of my hour. If I can earn $500 per hour creating content, why would I spend that same hour cleaning my house for $20? This is not just basic math, it is rich math. Define an ambitious value for your working hour. If solving a problem will generate less savings than the stipulated value, ignore it or delegate it. This is how the rich think. They do not save time to work more. They save time to do only what really matters. That is why I have assistants, a driver, personal stylist, personal trainer, private chef, and an entire team taking care of parts of my business that do not exclusively depend on my talent. It is not luxury, it is strategy. Okay, it is also luxury, and I love it. 18. Think long term. Choose a sector where you can work for decades. The internet is not going to end. Education has existed since before Christ. The sophists were already selling knowledge, darling. Think where you want to be in 20 years, not next weekend. And the secret to success is waking up early. Or not. The real secret is thinking beyond the immediate horizon. Most people plan for the next month. Some plan for the next year. The rich plan for the next decades and even for the next generations. Choose a sector in which you can work long-term with people who think long-term. I chose lifestyle and finance because they are eternal areas. People will always want to live well and have money for it. It is a market that will not end anytime soon. Long-term thinking also applies to relationships. When I met Mr. Millionaire, I did not just think about what he could give me at that moment. I thought about his potential, his connections, the empire we were building together. It was a long-term investment and one that continues to yield very well, thank you. 19. Build your name as a brand. Why do you think I am Duchess Dollars and not Jane Smith? Your image is everything. Build a reputation, a style, something that people recognize from miles away. My name is already worth more than many companies out there. Look at the most financially successful celebrities. They transformed their names into brands. Therefore, they are not only paid for their work, but also for licensing, partnerships, products. Your personal brand is not just your name or logo. It is the promise you make to the world. It is how people feel when they think of you. My brand, glamour, irreverence, financial wisdom, and a life that you wish to have. Each video, each photo, each public appearance reinforces this brand. I have an inflated ego. Yes, but I also have enough self-knowledge to know that my ego is part of my brand. What kind of promise does your brand make to the world? What feeling do you want people to have when they think of you? 20. Always study, but do more. Reading is faster than listening in terms of learning. Doing is faster than watching. Do not become an eternal consumer of content without action. My library is impressive, but my portfolio of achievements is even more so. As Jorge Luis Borges says, to understand a book, you need to read many books. The more you learn, the more you can learn from the next book. Knowledge accumulates and multiplies, like compound interest. But knowledge without action is just intellectual entertainment.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and shut this down. Oh, yeah. We're going to shut this down. And we're going to get to part 3. In part 3, we're going to get into the 48 laws of money.